Hello, I'm Anti-Derivative Jill, and this is Indefinite Lunch and Infinite Combinations number 41. And today I'm joined with Pop Culture Curator and Scotty R37. And today we're
Hi.
here. Hey, Scotty.
What's going
We're here.
on?
Yeah, we're going to review the Star Trek episode in production order, the next one in production order, which is Shore Leave.
All right, I'm excited. Thank you, Jill.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
me too. Thank you for being here, Pop Culture Curator. So everybody
Oh,
remember
my pleasure.
to
This one
subscribe.
is I hadn't seen this in so many. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to make sure everybody subscribes to Pop Culture Curator because he is so close. He's so close to 100. You're in the 90s now, right?
Yeah,
So that's
thank
pretty
you.
cool. And also go to his channel for the animated series on Monday and Gilligan's Island on Wednesday.
Thank
you. And also the Fantasmagorium with Scotty and his friends.
Yeah.
Y'all are gonna talk about Batman this week, right?
We're going to talk about Batman this week.
And always Quantum Leap too. On
Always Quantum Leap.
Mm-hmm.
We are hoping that one day Sam will make the leap that takes him home.
That's what we're waiting for.
Hoping for it.
But Pop Culture, you said you have some things that you want.
Well, yeah, which we can when we get there. I have a little bit from my book that I'm going to read that regarding Shore Leave.
Fun.
We can do that before we start, and I have some clips that I want to show throughout the episode of little things that I spotted. That's all.
Okay, so then I'm gonna have to make sure that I don't repeat the information that you say. Let me see. I need a pencil.
Well, I'll let you speak first, and that way I'll not try not to repeat what you say. Actually, since you're the host.
Well, no, that's okay. No, I want to hear. I think I'll listen. I'll listen to yours first. I can parse things out.
I have a feeling what I'm going to cover is probably different than what you're going to cover, so I think we'll be okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, you guys are in luck because I have very little to say about this episode.
Okay. I have a lot more to say than I thought, so it's interesting.
Neat.
Perfect.
So, I forgot to bring up the PowerPoint.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. For reference to the production of these episodes, I use the Star Trek 365, the original series book by Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdmann, which is exactly the same book that Raquel uses on Saturday Night Star Trek with Clobbering Times. So, and I know that she would like that. You know, we're using verified text, and so is Pop Culture. He's using a book that's written by creators of Star Trek, so that is really fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, me too. This episode first aired on December 29th, 1966, and oh no, okay, here it is. I'm looking for my PowerPoint because I didn't bring it up beforehand like I should have.
And once again, Jill, thanks so much for putting all the slides together and doing all the work that you do for each of these episodes. It's really fantastic, and I don't think I'd be able to piece together a plot without them.
Well, yeah, I do like how the screen grabs actually inspired you to remember these things.
For sure.
It's fun. So this episode is written by Theodore Sturgeon, who is another real science fiction author. He also writes fantasy, which is evident in this episode. And it's directed by Robert Starr. And Sturgeon also apparently wrote a sequel to this episode that was never produced. And we don't know whether or not that was incorporated into the animated series sequel or not. Once Upon a Planet.
Yeah, Once Upon a Planet. Sorry, I was going to jump in there.
Mm-hmm.
Which we covered on Pop Culture channel, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, we did. And I thought that was a fun episode, but this one's better. This is great. And I guess I could read from the text first, or do you want to read first?
Go
Okay,
for
I
it.
think Pop Culture wants me to read first. Okay, so the original story outlined for Shore Leave by famed science fiction author Theodore Sturgeon was completed in May 1966, months before Star Trek's debut. As filming approached in the fall, a rewrite was deemed necessary to make the script fit within what had become the show's established parameters for the characters, technology, and story style. Sturgeon was unavailable, so another writer was given the assignment. Unfortunately, that writer was unaware of the additional changes the network had requested, and it would fall to Gene Roddenberry to rework the script after shooting had begun. Legend has it that he did it on location while sitting beneath the shade of a tree at Africa, USA, a 600-acre ranch in Acton, California, with beautiful scenery, a lake, and a whole contingent of wild animals on call. Roddenberry saw the facility, frequently used by Hollywood filmmakers in the 1960s, as the perfect setting for this quasi fantasy story. Today, the location is the home of Shambhala Preserve, a wild animal sanctuary founded by actress Tippi Hedren
Ooh,
of the Birds fame.
Right. Check out her movie Roar, where her husband, and her daughter actually get attacked by lions several times. It's considered one of the most violent, realistic
Mm.
movies ever made.
Oh,
yeah.
I've heard about that movie from Red Letter Media. That was a very dangerous movie to film. Um, Additional location sequences for this episode, easily distinguishable by the jarring switch to desert like terrain, were shot at craggy Vasquez Rocks
I
in
thought it
nearby
was.
Yes,
Agua
I will be
Dulce,
covering that.
California. Yes, you are an expert of Vasquez Rocks. And
Yeah, it
so
was so
now,
surreal seeing this episode again after so many years because last time I saw this episode was before I had visited Vasquez Rocks. And now that I've been there several times, it was fascinating. I know where every shot was taken. So it was
nice.
incredible.
That's pretty cool. So, what do you have for us about this episode, Pop
All
Culture?
right. Okay.
We're ready.
This I'm going to be reading from Inside Star Trek: The Real Story by Herb Solow and Bob Justman. And Robert Spar directed Shore Leave, a wildly imaginative story by Theodore Sturgeon, at the time the most anthologized science fiction writer of his generation. The script, which was originally titled was so filled with difficult transitions and special effects that Gene Roddenberry had to go out, as you said, to the location and rewrite as it was being shot. Needless to say, Shore Leave went importantly over schedule, but it wasn't the fault of Robert Spar. Bob Justman says that episode had everything: Japanese samurai warriors leaping in from out of nowhere, Alice in Wonderland, and a human-sized rabbit, a tame wild tiger, a diving, strafing World War II fighter aircraft, an evil knight in armor mounted on a huge horse, and a knockdown, drag-out fistfight between Captain Kirk and a laughing ex-academy classmate, played to the hilt by actor Bruce Mars. Spar was terrific. He handled every revision that Gene threw at him, but certain cast regulars didn't like working with him because the immense amount of work he had to complete kept him from giving them individual attention. They prevailed upon Gene Roddenberry not to rehire him. On June 9th, 1967, again saw the episode on the air when it was rerun and wrote a memo to both Genes. And the memo says, although I realize that a great deal of effort went into the cutting of this film, I am of the open opinion that Robert Spar did a superlative job in directing the show. I realize that I am probably alone in my opinion, but I think that the conception of his shots and the motion and energy he created in his depiction of the exterior scenes was a truly creative achievement, notwithstanding the fact that Bill Shatner and some of the other actors found much fault with Bob Spar's abilities as a director of actors. His overall filmic judgment has definitely come through on this show. Perhaps he did not give lip service to the egos of our series regulars, but his filmic sense cannot be faulted. Bob Spar really cared about what he was doing, and I, for one, am sorry that circumstances made it impossible for us to bring him back again. And that is from Inside Star Trek.
Yeah, that is a shame he didn't get to come back because this is a very visually fun episode.
And it sounded like it was difficult even running over schedule. It was being rewritten, as you said, when Gene Roddenberry was frantically writing under a tree As a result, the filming went over schedule and took 7 days instead of the usual 6. And I'll have examples of that while we're watching the episode.
Cool. Well, it does sound like the director didn't necessarily want to ignore the actor's requests or anything, but he just had so much to do that he just didn't have time for everything that they wanted.
I think that was it. Apparently, they even had an elephant all queued up and ready to go, but they just didn't have time to squeeze it in.
Oh, man, I love elephants. That would have been fun.
And I wanted to share William Blackburn, a professional ice skater in real life who played the White Rabbit, got the costume from Icecapades for free. The claustrophobic Blackburn had a really painful time wearing it, especially as costume designer William Ware Tice had originally sewn the rabbit head to the suit. After nearly suffocating, Blackburn tore off the head, for which Tice became very mad at him. Finally, they negotiated, and Tice put the head back on with Velcro. Afterwards, Blackburn had no problem with the costume. He also commented that wearing the Gorn head in Star Trek Arena was even worse.
Oh, that's cool.
Neat. What was his name?
His name is William Blackburn.
Oh, great. William Blackburn. Wonderful.
And I know he did convention appearances. I've seen pictures of him at conventions signing autographs and things.
Yeah, but when he signs autographs, he's doing it for the Gorn. You know, you don't think, oh, he was also the rabbit.
Well, I did see a picture once where he was sitting at a table signing autographs, and there was a picture of both.
Oh, cool. So, I just want to say a little bit of a hello to the chat for people who are here. Hello to anyone lurking or on the replay, but also hey to Herc130. He says, "Hola from West Texas, a lot like Canada, only different."
True. Your money is green.
Can you get Tex-Mex in Canada?
Well, Taco Bell, does that count?
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Hello to Bird of Prey 5. Kapla.
Kapla, bird.
Kapla, bird of prey.
19 degrees Celsius. You lucky son of a gun. We're at -1 right now, Celsius.
It was like 80 degrees this whole past week. Yeah, it's still 78 here. So I don't know what kind of weird place I live in, but it's still summer over here.
Lovely. I envy you so much.
Hello, Lemon Pie.
Hey,
Lemon.
And Captain Finity. Hey, how's it going? Ooh.
Excellent. So good to see you all.
Yeah. He's getting this coffee going. Apparently.
6.
And 6 lurking. How cool. Yeah, no, I really love this episode. It's so much fun. And, Captain MTG.
Hey, Captain.
MKG. Sorry.
And Cardinal Sin. Ahoy.
Captain
ahoy,
Finity
ahoy.
says, "What are these extra books?" Well, they're Star Trek books. Books about Star Trek. And they're fun.
Behind
supplementary
research. Scenes and anecdotes by some of the original producers. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And hello to Dalek 451, Cardinal Sin. How are you doing? And Cardinal Sin says, "I met William Blackburn."
Oh, there we go. Cardinal Sin met him
at a convention. Yeah, he was at the 50th Star Trek convention, but I didn't meet him myself. I should have. I feel bad now. There's so many things I should have done. I should have just met everybody. They were all there.
I didn't know. I didn't know that William Blackburn was both the White Rabbit and the Gorn, and that's really cool. And it's like I have no frame of reference as to what the gentleman looks like, but it's really cool that there's a guy who's been in 2 Star Trek episodes that I had no idea was into.
Yeah, same.
And we haven't even gotten to the Arena episode yet.
I
know. It's coming up soon, very soon. I think it's
yes, it is.
Squire of Gothos and then Arena. So
right, wow. Here we have Spock standing at a panel that we rarely ever see.
Yeah, that's why this has nothing to do with the story or anything in this episode, but I took the screenshot because I thought it would look cool. Because what is this from? I don't see this ever.
Right. Well, you rarely ever see it. It's usually out of the angle of the camera, and this is where supposedly in the animated series, the second turbo lift will be.
Yes.
Cool. Well, this is a very actiony episode. And so for these streams, I usually always reference the transcript website called Chakotaya.net, and it is a very great website for someone out there
I was
took the
wondering where you
time
got
to.
those.
Yeah, they took the time to get the entire screenplay, but in their own word. Well, they put the action in their own words, and so I'm only referencing it because I usually rewrite it, but this time I pulled directly from it, so I've got to tell you that where I
Now,
got some of it, my dialogue today.
does this site have? Is it only
Mhm.
Star Trek or several things?
It's only Star Trek.
Okay, gotcha.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's all Star Trek. So I'll put it in the description later. So I just want to thank that wonderful person who did that. And
Brandon, the anime guy.
hey, Brandon, the anime guy.
And I'm assuming this is your version of Jersey Represent, but is this? Sorry, here we go. 735-6609 Club representing. Is that like Jay and Silent Bob or what? That's awesome.
This is a 735 club. This
Yes.
is real Star Trek 735. Well, iterations of Star Trek, meaning all the episodes plus the 10 movies.
I'm part of the 738 Club myself.
Yeah, I understand that. And we'll talk
Actually, it's
more
more like
about that on your birthday.
737. 737.
Yes. You do exclude one.
I do.
And hello to Matt G. And of course, the 66 to 09 is the years we had real Star Trek.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nerdporial, ahoy.
Oh, hey. Hey, Nerdporial Lifeform. Excuse me, panel. Have you seen a large white rabbit?
One pill makes you larger, another makes you small. What? White Rabbit. White Rabbit.
I know. Matrix. Get it.
No, not the Matrix. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Right.
Well, that's where I get it from. It's the Matrix. So leave me alone.
8675309. Thanks, Matt G. No one else cares. Anyway, back to the panel. Spock is diddling with the FM radio. I didn't mean to say diddling. I'm sorry, that was rude.
Speaking of diddling,
what? Here's Yeoman
Oh,
Farrow.
Okay. See, I missed the slide where she's Captain Kirk massaging Captain Kirk. Yes, Yeoman Barrows massages his back, and he's actually directing it until Mr. Spock steps forward and Kirk realizes who is massaging his back. Thank you, Yeoman. That's sufficient. So he cuts it off when he realizes it's her doing it. But, this was all stuff that was meant for Grace Lee Whitney, who is no longer on the show.
Right. But I think that this is a better dynamic because as the episode progresses, Barrow seems to be more interested in Dr. McCoy, which would be awkward if it were Rand.
Yeah, that would be awkward if it were Rand. I think it was rewritten for her. I
think it was too,
Barrows.
right. Yeah, I think at this point it was rewritten.
So, like, originally Dr. McCoy was the one who was going to seat Ruth?
I don't know what the script was originally. Now that's some deep knowledge that if anybody out there knows it, please tell us.
Yeah, if there was, well, as you said, in terms of the production notes, there were multiple revisions made, and quite possibly it would have been because of the absence of Grace Lee Whitney. Oh,
and Maggie references the rabbit from the Holy Grail, a very dangerous rabbit.
Oh, what's his name? Roger, I think. Anyway.
One pill makes you larger. That's a reference to Alice in Wonderland.
And the ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all. Just ask Alice. Sorry, we can move on now. Gorilla!
J25 says, "Hell, morning to all. I'm off to work planning to have the Finnegan theme from this episode in my head all day." And yeah, right. That's important. That's something that I meant to mention. Let's see if I have it here. I love the music for this episode, so I checked to see who did it. It was composer Gerald Fried. And it was the first time he worked on Star Trek. So this is his introduction to Star Trek.
Yeah, and part of it, there's also a scene when they're running that it's an alternate take of the main title, which you don't hear very often in this series.
Whatever he did, it was just as magical as the episode itself.
Absolutely.
Oh, the music is definitely a highlight for this one. Now, if I ever hear the phrase "Jimmy me boy" again, I'm going to throw myself in front of a train.
Well, that's the point of the character.
Yes. Very true. Come on, Jimmy me boy. You know that.
Okay, so we're.
Do you have a clip for Jimmy me boy?
Oh no! I meant to get more clips and things, but
That's up there with "Give Me the Brandy."
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, Finnegan's theme is definitely a highlight in this. It is like one of those whimsical things that they bring back too. It's great.
Yeah, I could cut through a video later and just play with it when we get to that part.
You don't have to do it now.
No, not now. But Mr. Brown Alliance is here, so I want to say hello to him and Canadian Spider-Man. How are things?
Spider-Man.
Our Canadian Mexican Spider-Man. Now he's in Mexico.
NAFTA Spider-Man.
Nerd Poor Lifeform says, "Did you know there's someone on this panel who is irritable? Performance ratings down and reaction time at 50%. Who is this person? Anti-derivative Jill. Have a pleasant shore leave." Yes, that is how Bones, not Bones. That's how Spock gets Captain Kirk to go on shore leave.
Oh, what is it? Any officer's right ends at their.
Gorilla gives it an F. Of course he does.
Yes, thank you, Gorilla. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And I'm glad you're here lurking today.
Mr. Brown, ahoy. Mm-hmm. Oh, what is it? Any officer's right ends at such a point that his performance could possibly harm the ship, something like that. It was really a good line, and it was the smug look on Spock's face. Enjoy your shore leave, Captain. I hear it's a lovely planet. And it is. Look at that there. Wouldn't you just love to frolic?
Yes. The Nerd Pro Lifeform says, the Gerald Fried music was really only reused once, I believe, in This Side of Paradise.
Possibly. The one that I was thinking of was at the end of Wolf in the Fold. And it's after everything has concluded for the episode and everyone's all high because they wanted to get Red Jack out of whoever. And they're going to beam down to the planet. And Kirk's the only one who's sober. And he's like, we've got to go to this place. They have women like you wouldn't believe. And it does the Finnegan theme. But everybody's too stoned to go with them. So it's great. It was. That's when I thought it was. So
you have an amazing memory for that. That was amazing. Masters Maniacs Mexico says, saludos from Mexico to Miss Jill and the fine people on the panel in the chat.
Cheers.
Great to have you here.
Cheers, Triple M.
Yeah. And Mad G's bringing us some bacon.
Bring the bacon.
Who brings the bacon? He always does.
He does. Brandon, the anime guy, says, is it bad that some of my favorite Star Trek is from the animated series? Not at all.
No. Yesteryear is one of my favorites, and I might just buy a print that costs an exorbitant amount of money just because I love it so much. But I don't know if I'm going to buy it yet. So stay tuned. If I do, I'll do a short about it. Gorilla says, I would come on and explain why it's an F, but I'm at work in the middle of an ice storm. Oh,
well, I'm glad you were able to work, Gorilla. Last night,
be safe.
Last night he was concerned that he would have to work.
You do robot a little bit today, Pop Culture. I just wanted to let you know. Are you experiencing that too, Scotty, or is it just me?
No, I'm experiencing it as well. It hasn't really been too much of an interruption, but yes, it is a thing.
But when it is, I feel bad because I want to hear what Pop Culture has to say.
Absolutely, me too.
And I don't want him to think I'm interrupting him. It's just Yeah, the technical difficulties there.
So I believe we have a request from the audience, Nerdporial. This one is going out to you.
What can I do for you, Jim? I said, give me the brandy.
Oh, Canadian Spider-Man bought an
Sorry,
ocean
I think I was
fishing
having a
rod.
bit of an internet problem.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking because you were roboting a bit. All right, that's great. Well, the only kind of
Yeah, I
fishing I
started
do
checking
is
all my
ocean
connections,
fishing.
and my Ethernet had come loose.
Oh, okay. I'm glad you figured that out because the Ethernet is the best way to get good.
It's this lousy
Good,
laptop. The Ethernet jack will not stay
connection.
in it. It keeps coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, NAFTA Canadian Spider-Man from Herc.
If it did, you could put a little bit of masking tape on there, and then it stays in a little better.
Oh,
Then Brandon, the anime guy, says this is a solid B in my book,
yeah, that's what I give it.
and Nerdpoil says they did this to Picard in Captain's Holiday too.
Makes sense.
Oh yeah, the fact that the captain doesn't want to take a vacation, and that affects the safety of the ship.
Oh, what is it? What is it in Shore? In Captain's Holiday, do you speak Marahajan or something like that? What is it? Because he has the Horgon.
So I'm taking
Everybody
it in
keeps
in that
Sure.
episode of TNG. It was probably Riker giving him the news, or was it the Doctor?
No, it was Riker.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So since we're talking, since Scotty mentioned Wolf in the Fold, we're talking about Piglet being beamed into outer space. So, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, no, Mr. Hengist is one of my favorite characters in all of Star Trek. Just how weaselly and evil he is, even though he didn't do anything wrong. He was taken over by a ghost.
Yeah. And my first time watching Star Trek. I know somebody because I don't mostly know children's programming because that's what I mostly watched when I was a kid. And it's like, hey, it's Piglet.
I feel that way about the outrageous Okana because I'm like, hey, look, it's the Rocketeer.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have lots of feelings about the outrageous Okana.
I can't wait to get there.
The Nerdpearl Lifeform says, I honestly need to watch more TAS. I've only watched it once. Yeah, it's a great series.
Well,
Time
if
to
you
get
want to
caught
watch,
up.
yeah, man, if you want to watch along with us, we do it every Monday night, most Monday nights.
I think
and
we're
it's
already almost done with season 1, aren't we?
almost,
Almost, yeah. We're on episode like 16 or 17.
like it's my first time going through, so it's all brand new. It's been so good watching new old Star Trek.
Canadian Spider-Man is talking about being in Mexico, and I am interested in Canadian Spider-Man's exploits traveling around the world. And right now, he's saying the weather in Malaki, Jalisco is beautiful, and the parents came home to find me asleep, and all the kids still awake at midnight. I guess the parents of the people where he's staying.
And don't drink the water, sir.
He's drinking the tequila. I think he'll be okay.
That'll work.
Gorilla drove 20 miles per hour. Oh yeah, okay, to make sure you're safe. That's good. Please be safe. If I would have called in, they would have shut the plant down. Oh wow.
Huh.
Well, that's how you make points with the boss, sir.
That's true. Keep those brownies.
Oh, and hello to Big Daddy MRI. Okay, let's get started with this episode.
What up,
Sulu.
Big Daddy? I have a grin on my face like Hikaru Sulu.
Yeah. He's saying beautiful, beautiful, no animals, no people, no worries, just what the doctor ordered. Right, doctor? And so Sulu is collecting plant samples in order to determine the planet's biology. So what we know of this episode, the crew doesn't know yet, but this is the shore leave planet, where if you think of it, it'll be manufactured for you quickly. And this is when McCoy thinks of Alice in Wonderland. And we get
There he is.
a giant rabbit and a little girl.
Hey,
And
Alice.
McCoy is stunned. A lot of this is just great performances in this episode. I just love his face. As Sulu crouches down behind some grass, McCoy turns and looks straight at the white rabbit in a check jacket, yellow waistcoat, and looking at a gold pocket watch.
Sulu!
The rabbit frets tardiness and heads off down a hold. Then a young girl comes running up wearing a blue dress with a white apron. And the captain is dictating his log in the presence of Yeoman Tanya Barrows.
Her first name's Tanya? I didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Go ahead, Joe.
that's what I get from the transcript from the Chicote website.
That's cool.
And I have a clip I want to share from that scene.
Oh, great. Let's see it.
Super fabu.
All right. Hopefully I can do this right without screwing it up.
It'll be
Hey,
great.
even if you screw it up, it's fine. This is what you get for skipping rehearsals.
Yeah, right. And their Pearl Lifeform says the writers
Exactly
of TOS.
right.
Yeah. The writers of TOS deeply cared about the consistency of the characters and went through like 10 drafts per script. Lots of what we see on screen comes directly from Roddenberry rewrites. Yeah, especially this episode had a heavy Roddenberry rewrite.
Well, and it's
Because
really
they couldn't-
cool. It's really cool just because, we've been discussing the behind the scenes dramas and what exactly did Gene Roddenberry contribute to each particular episode. And it's nice to know that he was very heavy in this episode, and it has nothing to do with a God thing or anything. It's great. Good work, Gene. Thank you.
Mhm.
No, he actually put in a little bit of sweat. Yeah, he put in a little blood and sweat on this one.
Yeah.
This is a very short clip, by the way. Let me make sure my audio is muted. I don't need any sound. This is as they go into the commercial break. I want you to notice because I thought this was hilarious.
Ooh.
You can pretty much see almost the entire camera rig in the shadow.
Nice.
And they decided to wheel the camera rig into the close-up rather than zoom in for a close-up.
All right.
And you can see the shadow on both of them at that point. Were you able to
that's
see
true.
that?
Yes. Maybe one more time.
No,
Do it one more
I
time.
can play it one more time.
Oh, totally.
There. You can see the shadow of the camera rig on both of them.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, that was very
Here we
cleverly
go.
done
Ready for
because
the next
I would
video.
never notice anything like that ever.
Well, I was thinking,
You
why
know-
did they just zoom in? But that gives a better effect if they roll the whole camera rig in for impact on McCoy's face.
Yeah, that was actually good too. I liked it.
Well, and also it's a possibility. I don't know. Maybe you need a different lens.
Nope.
Oh, okay. Euler Greg.
Yeah, Early Greg could do with some shore leave.
And Ola Greg, I wanted to apologize. Ola Greg came to my stream last night just as I ended it, and I didn't get a chance to say hello and goodbye. So, Ola Greg, thank you for being there.
Oh yeah, sometimes right when you want to end your stream, a whole bunch of people show up. You're like, hey,
That's what was happening. Yeah, I was getting more popular, right?
This is getting popular. It's time to go. So then we have a captain's log, stardate 32.3. It's shore leave, so he's
Oh, right, because he's being really casual with it. He's distracted. I like that little touch too.
We are orbiting an uninhabited planet in the Omicron Delta region. A planet remarkably like Earth, or how we remember Earth to be. Park-like, beautiful, green, flowers, trees, green lawn, quiet and restful. Almost too good to be true. Spock isn't interested in taking shore leave, and his cultural reason for this is that on Vulcan, a rest should be just, a way to
Rest.
stop using energy instead of running around.
And I think the Captain Kirk is talking the way he is because he's fatigued. That's the point
Yes.
they're putting across, that he's tired.
Good point. That's right. McCoy calls to tell Captain Kirk about the rabbit and Alice on the planet, which reports show to have, the reports say that there's no inhabitants, no animals or anything. But Kirk thinks it's a ruse. It's just a ruse to get him to take a vacation. But what he doesn't realize is that Spock actually has the ruse, telling Kirk about a fatigued crewman with aptitudes lowered from stress, and that works. And it shows me what a wonderful first officer and friend he is, because he knows his captain would never take time off willingly.
Right. Now, I would like to say one thing here. Spock and his clever ruse. If I were Jim, I'd be like, yeah, I'm stressed. You nearly got killed last week. You violated the only death penalty on the books. Am I on edge, Spock? Yeah, I am. You remember what happened the week before?
He still needs a vacation.
I was accused of murder. I'm a little stressed.
Yeah, two near court martials. Yep, that'll do it. That'll stress any ship out.
You know, when I was a kid and half of my colony was wiped out, well, I got to deal with him 3 weeks ago. So yes, he needs short leave.
Yeah, some childhood trauma.
Oh, I wish I could deal with Caridian if it weren't for those damn Telosians. Anyway, but here we are now this week on short leave. And so this is a very clever ruse. Absolutely. And so flawlessly logical.
Spock says he's becoming irritable and quarrelsome, yet he refuses to take rest and rehabilitation. Now, he has that right, but we found. And Kirk says, a crewman's right ends where the safety of the ship begins. That man will go ashore on my orders. What's his name?
Actually, I'll just show you this mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that that last shot there kind of highlights William Shatner's hairpiece in the front? Like maybe?
I still maintain I'm still blissfully ignorant of Shatner's hairpiece.
Me too. But I guess now that you mention it, you can kind of see a divide from the behind to the front, but that doesn't mean anything.
No. They look like slightly different colors, maybe, or shades. Possibly.
Yeah. No, well, sometimes the sun hits your hair a little bit.
Right. Yeah. It's just a reflection of the light. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And now, Jill, I heard you say in the last stream something I did not know. You said that Leonard Nimoy's father cut his hair.
Yes, Leonard Nimoy is his dad was his barber.
Even during the show.
Yeah, especially during the show, he got his hair cut by his dad all the time.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. No, I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is my favorite thing. And so then,
just sitting like a McCoy on a log.
Yeah, and while
meanwhile, and this is and you won't be able to tell from the still, but that rock actually lifts up to deposit the revolver in the solarium.
That's a good point to note.
Was killed.
I don't have many videos, but that happens all over the planet. So rocks and things underground lift up to deposit the robots. So the robots come from somewhere. So you see right away, even though the crew doesn't realize it, that these things are being created and given to the goers of the theme park, even though they don't realize it's a theme park yet.
This reminds me of later on, you can buy fake rocks to hide your keys under in your yard.
Oh yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, it looks similar to that.
Yeah, to this, and of course the rock reveals a classic Western style 6-shooter gun.
Doesn't Sulu call it a police special?
Yeah, he does. And it was interesting. They didn't want to use the name of the gun. It could have been Winchester, a Colt.
Right.
But I think they did that to avoid brand name.
Well, and also 300 years in the future, are you going to know what a Nike is?
Tom Paris would.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Well, it would say right on the side of the gun. It would have the label.
That is also true. I stand corrected.
And something I wanted to point out before we get too far into the episode, I want you, and I think, I've never noticed it as a kid, but now that I'm older and I've been in the military, the women are awfully clingy in this episode, and I think that's a little sexist on behalf of the writers. The
Yeah.
women are really acting like professional crew members. They're acting like women, damsels in distresses, I guess you could say. It's like that's the only reason why they beam down.
Yeah, that is kind of strange. I think I thought that was odd too, the way that they behave.
Hey, Kronos. But I understand where you're coming from, but it seems like everybody except for Spock, obviously, everybody, McCoy, Kirk, this lady who was Tomlinson here, not Tomlinson, Tomlinson's fiance.
Tomlinson. Rest in peace.
Yes, I forget this. I don't even know if she plays the same character, but I do think that this is because it's shore leave. I'm kind of willing to forgive the clinginess because everyone seems to be going on vacation. And so it's almost like a Christmas party. It's like everybody's like, hey, what are you up to? What are you doing? I'm going to hang out with you. All right, sounds good. I'm going to wear this fancy dress. All right, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody's focused on having fun. And for most of the episode, all of the silliness does seem mysterious. They don't know how it's happening, but it doesn't seem to be hurting them, so they're kind of going along with it.
Like this isn't even an exploratory mission. This is just let's go find out whether or not it's dangerous. But basically,
actually, they do
that's
a
what he's
little
doing
bit
there.
of work.
Right, they are working there. He's examining the plants and everything, telling her.
That's
he's gathering
because he's
information.
A square.
Yeah, well, he's doing his specimen survey, and so Solow was also doing a study of the biology of the planet.
This is the guy at the Christmas party who goes around and collects all the glasses from the tables and takes it back to the bar. It's like you can calm down, man. Like,
or he counts all the cracks in the foundation.
Yeah, he's a wallflower, so he's doing science things.
No, it's I really appreciate that they're still studying the planet, even if it is a vacation spot, because they want to make sure it's safe. Because this is a new place they've never been to before.
Yes.
I agree totally, right. That's why I thought it was kind of jumping the gun where they automatically assumed they were all going to take shore leave there.
Right. Because it seemed so perfect.
Well, and one of the things they do say is that there are no animals and there are no insects. But there are several shots throughout this episode where you see insects.
Yes, and they're created, all of them, because the people expect... you expect,
right?
You expect
they thought about it, right? Like the birds, they thought about them.
Fair enough. Okay, that makes sense.
You expect to hear birds and see birds.
Speaking of bird, Kapla.
Kapla did bird Ray 5, of course. And also, hello to Kronos. I don't know if I said hi to you yet. Hello. He's gonna lurk and annoy me later. Hey, I can't wait.
Hey, Kronos. Good to see you there.
Good day.
He says to tip me, if you want. Kronos says, static Klingon.
Ba-dum-bum.
Okay. So, yeah, you're right. He's working and she just wants to enjoy the scenery. So I agree with you, Pop Culture. It's okay that she wants to be on vacation, but she could help him a bit.
She just got over
what's her
the
assignment, right?
Process. She's a lifeguard.
I don't know. They're both yeomen in this episode. So I don't know.
And those haircuts are so 60s.
I know.
One on the left. The one on the left. That's Mary Tyler Moore's haircut, straight out of the Dick Van Dyke Show.
That is the Rachel of the 60s. There's a Friends reference for you. I'm old. Oh no, it's a Mugatu. Wait, no, those are rabbit twacks.
Yes, that's right. McCoy and Kirk meet up together and see these giant footprints, which Kirk guesses could be McCoy's rabbit. And that's enough evidence for Kirk to cancel shore leave until he solves this mystery.
What's interesting is the footprints are always side by side. They're never singular. So you're assuming that the rabbit is only hopping and not running. Because it's 2 and 2 and 2 and 2, not 1, 1, 1, 1, like if somebody is pacing.
That is a good detail. That's something that is, yeah, right. That would also happen if it were a kangaroo.
Yes.
So Kirk says, I want proof that it's harmless. So he wants to make sure that this is still a good place to have shore leave because random things are popping up everywhere. Well, but this is just a random rabbit at this point. We don't know about anything else yet until they hear a gunshot. And Kirk draws his phaser and they head off in the direction of the shot. And more are fired. And they find Solow target practicing a gun. The gun that we saw earlier that he dreamt up and was deposited just for him. Because he says, I found it. I know it's a crazy coincidence, but I've always wanted one like this. Found it lying right over there. An old-time police special in beautiful condition. Hasn't been one like this made in a couple of centuries. And Solow hands it over.
What did you do to Solow? Why did you take this picture? He looks like he's like horror.
Yeah, he looks totally high.
Go back. I want to see it again.
Well,
I think Solow's having a little bit.
He's having fun. He's in a state of euphoria over.
You have a
gun.
phaser on your hip, you weirdo. Why are you so happy with this combustible machine?
Well, just
they've established that he collects weapons, and he's a.
It's true. I am making fun.
Right. They've established that Solow loves weapons. Right. Solow loves weapons. Remember the sword and everything.
Mm-hmm.
He does. He goes all.
So they do remember that.
Totally, yeah, he goes totally General Grievous.
And he worked. Right, and he also worked on botany before he came to the bridge.
Yes. Well, and physics. He was in the physics department, and where no one has gone before. No man.
There you go. And
anyway,
he even explains.
Yes.
It fires lead pellets propelled by expanding gases from a chemical explosion. So he already knows.
Yeah, right there, Kirk should say, yes, Solow, bullets. Yeah, bullets. I think they knew what bullets were at this point.
Yeah. It's not that old, buddy. I loved how when that one time you brought me over to your quarters to explain what a sword was. Thanks for the hot tip, Quincy.
He did that too, though.
He said, it's a sword. Yes, I've seen them before, Solow. Thank you. Just steer the ship.
And I have a clip to share from this scene.
Okay, great.
All right, let me share.
Oh, Scott sent me a YouTube video too.
I did.
They're all going to be really short.
Cool.
Okay. I don't know how much of that I could play.
It's only 30 seconds long.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can, and you don't have. It's basically the same thing over and over.
No,
again.
it's not even that long.
Play it for like 5 seconds. No, I was talking about the one I sent, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this. What is this? Is this going to have the Gilligan's Island font as well?
No, what I want you to notice, this is when the antenna pops up as McCoy and Kirk are walking away from the camera. And it's hilarious because it's another thing I never realized as a kid. It's very crude, and you can tell it's handheld when it should look like it's automated. Here we go.
Yes. See, I told you.
There, you can tell somebody's obviously holding that antenna in their hand.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Did you all catch that the first time? I don't need to replay, right?
I'll do it one more time.
Okay.
It's so short. Why not?
All right, here we go.
Yeah, that's definitely a guy holding it.
There. Mm-hmm. Right, and he's standing on the rig with the camera as it moves along. Okay, thank you, Jill.
Neat. You're welcome. Thank you. That's some cool stuff. Admiral Teague says Solow's feelings are easy to understand. If we handed you a pirate's flintlock pistol, would you say, well, I could buy a Glock, so who cares? Or would you test fire it?
Fair enough. No, I'm making fun simply because I find this episode to be the crew goes to a mall. They don't know what a mall is, but by the end they do. And so the whole thing is sort of a flight of fancy. It is shore leave. I enjoy it. It is silly as hell.
I liken it more to the holodeck than just a mall.
Fair enough. Right. Well, Space Mall.
So Kirk confiscates the gun, and this antenna starts to follow them. And McCoy admits he's feeling a bit picked on for being the only one to see the rabbit. And Kirk relates with his friend, noting a bully of his own. So that's how he ends up thinking of Finnegan.
And I think this is where you should play the clip that I sent. Not much of it, just a bit.
Well, you didn't share it. If you share your screen, it makes it easier for me. But okay.
Me? But that's why I sent you the clip. I thought you could.
Oh, no, there's a note
I
behind the
But
scenes. Editor
not
Fabian.
so easy.
Is it not easy?
It would have
Editor
been if I.
Fabian D. Tort.
What happened?
Sorry, go ahead. No, this is
No, you go.
not a screen that I'm sharing. It's just the trivia.
Oh,
Tell us.
what's the? Yeah.
Editor continued to pop out of nowhere as Kirk pursues him. This gave the impression that there was more than one Finnegan, or at least that he was not quite human.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He jumps all over the place. All right.
Especially later at
Wait a
Vasquez
second.
Rocks. Yeah.
You're not going to play it?
Well, I got to make sure there's sound since this is a soundy thing.
I have made your life insane. Dum.
I got to pause it every once in a while. I don't want to claim,
No, I know.
but I love it. I love this thing.
Diddly-dee.
So this is Star Trek,
Got the
the
Irish
suite for
sound.
piano. Yeah, it is. Suite for piano and oboe. Music
We're clones, don't you know? Diddly-dee potatoes. Was that insensitive? I apologize. Come on, Jimmy Bye.
Music composed and arranged by Gerald Fried.
Oh, Jimmy! Don't you know? Chief O'Brien is spinning in his grave. Wait, Colmeany's still alive?
And Admiral Teague says more like they went to Westworld. Yeah,
That's a
Westworld,
good call.
except that nobody's behaving like terrible people.
Well, that Black Knight's kind of a jerk.
Well,
Well, not only that, but they turned Don Juan into, I can't use the word, but let's just say he assaults women apparently in this.
oh yeah,
He's very
okay.
aggressive. He's very handsy. Yes.
Yeah, that's whoever imagined him is who dictates how he behaves. So it may not be accurate. I don't even know.
You know what? And this is what I love about
Mhm.
Star Trek fandom is that Finney has his own action figure.
He does.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know.
Well, he should. That makes sense.
So you can just.
He should be
Can
a
you
punching bag,
imagine
though.
shaking around like a 3.5-inch little Finnegan being like, Jimmy B boy, you're gonna fight. You have to buy a Kirk with a ripped shirt and a Finnegan, and then you make YouTube videos for 5 years.
Yep.
Come on, playing with your toys is fun.
Yeah, it is. So we meet Finnegan here. He's the most hilarious, annoying character whose sole purpose it is to antagonize Kirk, which he does perfectly, as a production of Kirk's thoughts of his old classmate. And imagine if you could meet someone from your past who completely annoyed you and mistreated you, and maybe you don't necessarily want to knock them out like this, but beat them in some way. And so that's how this part of the episode is really kind of relatable. That's the embodiment
And
of
we're assuming
Finnegan.
this is a Starfleet cadet. Right, this is a
Yeah.
Starfleet.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, from
Cadet
Starfleet
uniform, right?
Academy. He's supposedly, just in school. He's just a
Well, and
not,
this is
not even a
Right,
cadet yet.
right. So he's a cadet. He's
He is
not even a cadet yet. Okay, that's true.
I don't even know.
well, and this
Or
is
is
the
it?
become a
second.
cadet?
Okay, whatever works.
This is the second time that it is referenced that Kirk was an uptight bookworm in the Academy.
That's right. He was.
It was
He was
mentioned in
pretty
Where
much-
No Man Has Gone Before, but in this one, it was. Oh, I think it's McCoy and Kirk are like, and McCoy is like, I bet you were quite the ladies' man in the Academy, and he was like, no, my nose was in a book all the time. I was the most uptight man you ever would have met.
Mhm.
Almost Picard-esque, if you will.
Well, I think
That's how
Kirk
he
is a
referred to
different.
himself.
I think Kirk is a different kind of academic than Picard. Picard is more literary, and Kirk
Yes.
is more philosophical in the books that he reads. He reads lots of philosophy and everything.
Yeah, I would love to see Picard fight Finnegan.
It's not his style, though.
So Kirk is about to fight him right here, but he hears someone screaming, and it's Yamin Barrows. She was attacked by
And as you can see,
Don
this is where
Juan.
Don Juan, and this is where they've officially phased out the brown gun holsters. Now they're strictly wearing black with Velcro.
Are they
I don't know. It might come back.
black
It's
now
likely.
forever?
It might be. Well, like if you go back to that last clip, you'll be able to tell. So if we in this series, there it is. You see Kurt wearing it there, the shiny of the leather. But if it does come back, it may be, I'm guessing, for background characters. But the main cast seems to have all black now, black belt.
Yeah, they do, and we'll see. We will see. Cardinal Sin caught my Jefferson Airplane reference earlier. Well, thank you for being here so long, sir. We appreciate everybody in the chat, and it's awesome to have you guys here.
Yes.
No offense to the Irish, but dang. Yeah, no, I'm sorry about that.
No, I think
that probably is upset a few people.
It pushed, it would have pushed some envelopes.
Yeah.
What? Diddly diddly dee potatoes is offensive.
I don't think so, but I'm not Irish, so I don't know.
I apologize to Colomini already, okay?
Yeah, you did. Kirk accepts that there is value in knowledge and acquires it as fast as he can as a cadet. He memorizes things and thinks about them later. Picard is intellectually grazing and sort of analyzing on the spot.
These are very interesting categorizations or characterizations that you guys are bringing. This is cool.
I do like
That's interesting.
But yeah, so Tanya,
yeah, she confirms that she was thinking of Don Juan. And then the antenna.
So she must imagine that. So if Don Juan attacked her like that, she must name Don Juan as a bad man, I'm guessing.
Well, and
because
that's
whatever
the
they're
thing,
doing, right?
That's what I'm thinking about with Finnegan, and it's like, so what Captain Kirk imagined was that he wanted to get into a fist fight with Finnegan, but he also kind of wanted to get his ass kicked.
Well, he wanted to confront him.
Did he want it? He wanted it to last all day.
Well, he didn't want to just win. He didn't want it to just be too easy. And what would be the point of that? He wanted a realistic. How he remembers Finnegan is how strong he is.
This is one of those things, and
at this point, you got to remember. Kirk is older than Finnegan at this point. They were probably around the same age when they were in Starfleet, but now Kirk is in his 30s and Finnegan's still 20, whatever.
Yeah, he says, I'm still 20.
You're an old man, Jimmy me by.
Yeah, exactly. And hello to Pod Racing Palpatine.
Hey, Papa Palpatine.
Adam O'Teague says, I'm Irish enough to endorse Finnegan as a legit Irish guy and not that exaggerated.
I'm just a terrible impressionist. I apologize.
You're the best impressionist on this panel.
Oh, no.
Krona says, I'm not Irish, so I'll trust the Admiral. Admiral Teague.
Admiral?
I knew that was Korean.
There be whales here. Not yet. Oh, you know what? That sucks. Scotty doesn't get to go on shore leave. He's not in this episode.
No, he's not. I did think about that
No, he
too.
isn't.
Scotty.
I
did
just
not-
realized it. It's a good McCoy episode, though, so I'll
It
allow
No,
is.
Uhura.
It is.
No, well, Uhura's
Well-
on the ship.
Yeah, but she just says, "I, Captain." She's just like, she just smiles a little bit. She's like, "Man, I wasn't in this episode." So she's barely there.
Captain, I'll stay at my post until somebody gets lanced.
Mhm.
And then I'll go down after you guys figure out it's safe and it's just fun robots.
Yeah.
Right, and obviously the reason why we have characters come and go is budget reasons. So when they have to spend more money on one thing, they have to kind of remove from another.
Oh, for sure. Travel
That makes
expenses.
sense.
Now,
I have a clip
this
from
is a
this scene
question.
I'd like to share.
Oh,
Go ahead.
please.
It's a
Okay.
short one, and I'm gonna. It's a kind of a long. It's like 18 seconds, but I'm gonna pause my way through it. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. It'll be
Okay.
without audio as well.
Yeah, right. Yeah, if it's more than 8 seconds, you want to pause it to avoid the copyright claim. The captain
Okay.
runs
Okay,
across
so
a
we'll
barren.
do that. We'll get through it.
I'm
Sorry, I'll
sorry.
stop.
What?
No, I'm singing the theme thing. I'm...
Oh, I see it now. I hear it now, rather.
Cheers.
The captain runs across a barren piece of ground towards a rocky outcrop, which suddenly gains palms and banana plants when he gets there. And he picks an orange flower and becomes wistful. And there's who he became wistful about.
Ruth.
Blonde and lovely, her dress half white and black. And roses.
Like, that's... Can you go back one? That is a lady who is dressing up as sexy Two-Face for Halloween.
Sure.
No, but half of the dress is white. The other half is all crazy and black. All you have to do is burn one side of her face, and that's a sexy Two-Face.
Well, it wouldn't be. I don't know how sexy getting your face burned is.
I'm not
but-
saying it's a good decision. I'm just saying that is the perfect costume
Yeah,
if you wanted to do a sexy Two-Face.
Mhm.
Sorry, I've got
I do
Batman
like.
on the brain.
No, I do like. I do like.
Well, what's interesting
Two-Face
is
from the animated series.
what
Go
this
ahead.
reminds me of is in the old days when they had circus freaks, they had freak sideshows, and they had circus freaks. They would dress
Yeah.
the half man, half woman like this,
Oh, I've seen that. Is that what you were going to refer to?
female, and the black side would have been a male.
Okay, you go, girl.
Okay. No. This is here. What's great about this is, as Jill mentioned earlier, is everything you see with all the trees and the water and everything is filmed at Africa, USA.
Right.
And then there's a big chunk shot at Vasquez Rocks. And I remember as I was visiting Vasquez Rocks, I wasn't sure at what point the episode went from Africa, USA to Vasquez Rocks, and if they actually showed the transition, and they actually do, and I think they handled it very clever. So, like I said, I'm going to pause through it.
No, but this is really cool.
Here we have Captain Kirk in Africa, USA.
Yes.
Oh, can you guys see this? Yeah, you can see it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's Captain
it's-
Kirk in Africa, USA, with the antenna following him, and you can tell it's Africa, USA. You could tell by the surroundings. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to the antenna, and then watch this. And here
Yep.
comes Kirk at Vasquez Rocks now.
Yes.
Now, you notice how the sets look very similar, but you can tell they're completely different. And what they did was anything you can see in this picture that is dark green is a prop. The trees behind him that are light green are real. So what they did
Yes.
is they added a few of the spoilage here to kind of blend from Africa, USA to Vasquez Rocks. And there's Kirk wondering, as you see here, like all in reality, at Vasquez Rocks, if you're standing in that spot, it's just all dirt. But
Right.
so all that right there is hot plants.
That's cool.
Unders, and then he runs off towards Vasquez Rocks.
Yes, sir.
So that I think I love how they handle the transition from one location to another. I think it was fantastic. And by the way, anytime you see rocks that are at an angle like that, you know you're at Vasquez Rocks. So that main rock formation that in fact, I have, by the way, I still have a 2-hour-long video that I shot there. I haven't published on my channel yet. But that big rock formation that he climbs to fight the Gorn, that's the same one that she was standing next to just a minute ago. And they basically shoot all around that main rock, and you can tell as you're watching. All right, go ahead, Jill. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. That's the most amazing thing. I love it. Wow. I like anything to do with the Vasquez.
See, that's the
Well,
rock. You
and
can tell by the angle.
Well, and that's I'm really impressed with that, man, because like I was wondering, I was like, is that set dressing? Like, did they bring in those plants? And I saw the
Yes.
transition. Like, I didn't see the transition, but my brain did.
Yes, you
Right,
like
and
barren
those
and then plants.
right,
Yeah.
and those plants to the props, you could tell those are more like tropical plants. They would not be in a desert area like Vasquez rocks.
Yeah. Anyway,
Wait,
oh
can I?
yeah, this is the point where I actually have to step away for a minute so you can take over the comments and impersonate Con, and I'll be right back.
No, this is well, we'll see you shortly, Jill. Okay. Pop culture, do you want to be Con or do you want to be Kirk?
Con, I'll do my best. I don't know. What are we doing?
Okay, so I'm going to start Admiral Teague, and you're next. Okay, so I'll start.
Okay.
Kronos, you bloodsucker, you're going to have to do your own dirty work now. You may have Genesis, but you don't have me. This is your part.
I've hurt you, and I wish to go on hurting you.
Oh, that was good. You wanted me, Kronos, like a poor marksman. You keep missing the mark. You're going to have to come down here, Kronos. Do you hear me? You're going to have to come down here. Now, you're still Con.
I'm still Con. Okay. I wish I knew the script verbatim. I've done far worse than hurt you. Or no, I've done far worse than kill you. I have hurt you, and I wish to go on hurting you. I will leave you as you left her. I will leave you as you left us, as you left her, abandoned inside of a barren sand heap, buried alive. Something like that.
Con! There you
Right. Paraphrasing
And
there, folks.
scene.
I'm probably going to lose my geek card from that.
Whatever, it's fine. We both suck. Dalek451 says, funny you should mention Two-Face. I was watching Batman the Animated Series the other day, and the episode I'm up to is the first one with Two-Face. That's a great two-parter. And I love Richard Mall as Two-Face in that series.
I do too.
Did you guys see the animated Batman episode with Adam West where William Shatner played Two-Face?
I haven't seen it, but no, but I'm aware of it. I haven't seen it. I was gonna get it.
Oh, it's fantastic! Adam West made it just before he died, and they drew William Shatner like he looked in the '60s.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I just made an exorbitant purchase, so I can't do another one right now.
No, it is Christmas.
It is Christmas. I have to be thinking of others.
Mm-hmm. You do. So, where are we in the chat here? Is this where we are?
Vasquez. Have you ever been mistaken for a man? No, pod racing Palpatine. Have you? That was an Aliens reference. I'm going to have to step away. I just got to let Snoop see some fresh air.
Okay. I'm just checking to see what's going on in the chat before I get too behind. And Cappuccino Cavalryman said, whoever has toned abs should be Con.
Not me anymore.
Admiral Teague says, now Kirk decides to have a relationship with an android and his whole crew sees him doing it. That must have been weird. Well, he doesn't know that it's an android. He's like, how are you here?
Right. Right. He hasn't got it yet. Right. He hasn't grasped it yet.
Yeah, he knows that there's some kind of mystery going on, that it's impossible for this to be happening, but he's taken by her anyway. And Pod Racing Palpatine says, for hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee. Yeah, I can't do Con. Sorry, guys. Oh my god, is everybody just posting all of...
I guess now it's Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, let's just switch over and start reviewing Wrath of Khan. I haven't seen Batman the Animated Series in decades, says Cronus. Well, we
Oh,
can't.
great show.
I'm not going to review the Wrath of Khan until at least we reviewed Space Seed on this show.
Yes.
And hey, what? That's not right. So yeah, so everybody's having a good time in the chat here, and Protos wants to make it to Shatner's age. Yeah, pretty good age. Pod Racing Palpatine says those animated Adam West episodes are great. He even quotes Keaton.
Right.
Do you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. But I don't know.
I agree with Pod Racing Palpatine. Excellent. I think they only made 2 of them, but they were fantastic.
Wow. Having a great time.
But Admiral is correct there.
With the Wrath of Khan. Mm-hmm.
We still haven't made it past Sexy Two-Face?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
no, I was going through the chat. No, everybody's posting the entire script of the Wrath of Khan.
Right,
Oh,
we're doing a rendition of Wrath of Khan.
Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry.
No,
I think you know every word. I don't think. Yeah, you didn't miss much. I think you know every word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I want
Ruth
to mention
is
something
cute.
about. I have to mention something about this scene. When I
Cheers.
was a kid, we used to ride this old. Go back to that shot behind her. One more there.
Listen.
When I was a kid, we used to ride this old bus to church called the church was called Truth Tabernacle, and it was an old white bus. And there was an old lady that was sitting in front of me, had her hair exactly like that.
Nice.
And I was bored, and I was young, and I used to stick my finger up the holes in her tubes. We called her tubes, and I used to stick my finger up those little holes in her because I was sat behind her. I was a kid, so you shoot me.
Yeah,
that.
right. You don't know to keep your hands to yourself at that age.
Right. I kept thinking, what are those holes for? I went up there for it. I would start sticking my fingers up inside. I would not do that now, people. Right.
No, I get that. No, I get it. That's funny. How old were you?
I was about
27.
7 or 8 years old.
That makes more sense than 27.
27, I would have been in jail.
Yeah, exactly. And rightly so.
So
yeah. Okay.
Kirk
then
is gone from fighting Finnegan, and now we get another sort of flashback to his academy days.
Yeah, these are the 2 people he sees. He sees the guy he wants to punch in the face, and the girl he wants to
kiss in the face.
Kiss in the face. Thank you. So, Captain's Log, Stardate 3025.8, investigation of this increasingly unusual planet continues, and we are seeing things that cannot possibly exist, yet they are undeniably real. And so, Kirk calls for Rodriguez to gather everyone to meet at the Glade.
Go back one. Roof. Everyone has such goofy looks. Everyone's so dazed with beauty. Oh my gosh, I've got a police special. I've got my ex-girlfriend.
Well, somehow Spock can see this, and he's like, "Are you guys just tripping down there?"
Yeah.
Something I noticed too, that this was shot on location, so a lot of this is just natural lighting. You can really notice William Shatner's makeup. It's really heavy. Even the mascara around his eyes, it's very noticeable in this episode.
And yeah, Captain Kirk doesn't want to go, but he has to go. And so Spock is getting some readings from the power field on the planet that is draining the ship's power and affecting communications. And Spock thinks that the whole power drain is coming from underground.
They never explain that.
No, they don't. They never explain it whatsoever. That's my only problem with this episode, actually.
Arbitrary danger for no reason whatsoever.
Arbitrary, yeah. It's just like, okay, here's a danger, and suddenly the danger is gone. Yay. Meanwhile, back at the tree where Barrows...
at the Hall of Justice.
Okay, so they find that something is monitoring them.
Joe, can you show that last...
Oh, wait, I guess they don't
shot with Spock real quick?
Something is. Anyway. Sure.
to the left of to Spock's right or to our left. You can't see it too well in this shot, but you can in others. Is the device that is big and gray and protruding in the animated series. So I realize that the device
Oh,
does exist here. It's just that
Cool.
it's smaller and it's set back within the console. And the way they drew it in the animated series, it protrudes out above and away from the console.
wow. I'm so glad that you noticed that. I don't have a picture of it apparently.
Yeah, it's the one we're always joking about them bumping into when we were watching TAS.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, it doesn't protrude over the rim, over the edge of the counter in
Yeah.
the TOS.
So it's the way that you'd want to see it in the animated series if they drew it right.
Hey, Kronos, he's dead already.
And I'm on the chair something here. The original script featured Yeoman Rand as part of the landing party, but as the character was written out of the series, she was changed to Yeoman Tonya Barrows. Also, in Theodore Sturgeon's original script, the Yeoman had a share of close scenes with Kirk. In the rewrites, Gene L. Kuhn and Gene Roddenberry changed these to feature Dr. McCoy instead and
Hey,
introduced Kirk's old Academy flame Ruth to the story.
I like
In the
that
October
change.
3rd, in the October 3rd, 1966 draft, one incident of Yeoman Rand is still present on page 58. So yeah, they were in the process of changing her character into other ones. There you go. Sorry.
Why do you always say you're sorry for saying?
no, that was great. I was asking that question earlier, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is pretty.
The
Wait,
two
what question
Starfleet
were
cadet
you asking?
uniforms made for Bruce Mars. The two Starfleet cadet uniforms made for Bruce Mars and his stunt double, Vince Dedrick, were later reused on background extras in Star Trek Wolf in the Fold and Star Trek The Troubled Tribbles.
Cool.
Right. Admiral Teague says that Spock seems to highly approve of the captain having some snoo-snoos with an android.
Well, he doesn't know it's an android yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So James Caserta says Jill's always nice to me, and even though she hates me, I don't hate you, James Caserta. As a kid, watching that at the end of Star Trek 2.
Damn.
Oh, damn. Oh, he's dead already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I don't want to start thinking about Spock dying. So let's.
He gets better.
I know he gets better. I just had to put the next DVD in, but anyway. Admiral Teague says, yeah, Kirk has a new, even prettier yeoman. Unlike Pike, he didn't approve of women in Starfleet. Well, she's beautiful, but I love Land.
Well, it's
This
the only
is
episode that you get Barrow, so.
Mm-hmm.
This episode
That's
marks
true.
the first time in broadcast order that Captain Kirk calls Dr. McCoy Bones.
Oh, really?
Oh, neat. I didn't know that.
Of
Theodore-
my friend, I can only say this. I would like to insult his heritage.
Theodore
I always thought it was
Sturgeon-
rather disrespectful.
Yeah, the author Theodore Sturgeon commented about the installment. That was a gasp because anything could happen. Any wild idea you could possibly have could be stuck into the script. Everybody had a good time with that one. Sturgeon submitted a story outline for a sequel, Shore Leave 2, in April of 1968, but it was not produced. It is unknown whether any of the concepts from that outline were later worked into Star Trek the Animated Series Once Upon a Planet.
Nice.
So meanwhile, Barrows
Tanya
and
and Leonard.
McCoy are walking through through all the tropical plants, and she says she should be dressed as a fairy tale princess, and McCoy says, "I see what you mean, but then you'd have whole armies of Don Juans to fight off, and me too." And Barrows says, "Is that a promise, Doctor?" And the whole scene is very sweet. It's a really wonderful McCoy episode. And he takes her hands in his, and they gaze into each other's eyes for a long second. Then she spots her dream clothing hanging on some shrubs. She hesitates, but decides to try them, telling Dr. McCoy not to peek.
Hey, is there a clip?
Oh
I
yeah,
have
this
one.
is a clip. This is a clip that I always have on my show on hand. I wish I
Go
could
for it.
have gotten more clips from this episode, but this one I just always have.
My dear girl, I am a doctor. When I peek, it's in the line of duty.
Yeah. So that's always a
And
fun line. Go
I
ahead.
have a clip I'd like to share from this episode if I
Great,
can.
please do.
All right, here we go. Share screen. And once again, I
Hey.
will pause through it so we
Oh.
don't get stricken.
Sure, sounds great. And there it is.
Okay, here we go. Here's where she spots.
What?
By the way, this shot right here that you're looking at was shot on a set, probably for a different episode. This shot right
Oh,
here
wow.
of McCoy was not filmed on location. You could tell it's an obviously set with a fake blue background, and you can tell by the lighting. Now watch this. Then we cut back to her. We cut back to Bones. I'll show here if it lets me. And there is a shot of Bones on location.
Go back to the other
So
one.
you can see that insert was definitely not filmed. Okay.
I wonder what that was from.
Yep, that's from a different episode. Totally. You can even tell by the framing and everything. The lighting, the framing, you can tell that's studio lights. And you could tell this is outdoor setting and with the sun and mirrors.
Maybe
These
it was
mirrors
just an
reflect light.
insert.
Like on the left of McCoy's face, that would be a mirror.
Maybe it was a.
It
Maybe
is
it
an
was
insert.
like
But I'm wondering why they felt they
yeah.
had to insert it.
I don't know, a reaction shot from McCoy.
But okay.
I don't know. All I want to know is how you notice these things. It's really an incredible talent.
So it's outdoor and then back to, or it's indoor and then back to outdoor. Okay. And I wanted to share something I have here. I don't want to, the thing is, I don't want to add too much because I know we try to keep this relatively short. This is the reason why Gene Roddenberry was on set having to do the rewrites. Gene Roddenberry deemed that Theodore Sturgeon's original script contained too much fantasy and lacked credibility. Gene L. Kuhn was assigned to rewrite it. However, Kuhn misinterpreted the task, and his draft turned out to be even more of a pure fantasy. Roddenberry then began to heavily rewrite the script, but since the production team had run out of time, Roddenberry had to do so while the episode was being filmed.
Yeah.
So that's why he was there on set.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bless his cotton socks.
Yes. It's always a team effort. Especially when you can't get the original episode author back.
All right.
Admiral Teague says, I think Pop Culture Curator is right and would guess the exterior shot is from this side of paradise.
But this side of paradise was shot on location.
Well, the question is, and this side of paradise has it had been shot yet at this point?
Yeah.
Because we're doing chronological order, so that would have had to have been one of the episodes that we've already seen.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So...
Unless they shot it afterwards, completely after all shooting was done, because they realized they were missing a shot. I mean, that's possible, but unlikely.
No. Yeah. So no, this is not that. But that's a really great guess. Oh. Okay, so I don't know. Admiral Teague says they totally know Ruth is an android when Kirk takes off with her at the end. Oh yeah, at the end. I was just saying we haven't gotten to the end yet.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
Spock is totally fine with having Snoo with a robot that looks like his ex-girlfriend. He's totes fine.
Yes,
and
I was just going with the
and we will discuss that when we get there.
Yeah, I was going along with the storyline. But you're right. Yeah, at the end, he does know it's an android. I guess it just proves Spock's assertions about Kirk's efficiency slipping were right. Mm-hmm. And this yeoman and the one from Dagger of the Mind were super early crushes. Yes, Yeoman Barrows is gorgeous for sure. And my goodness. But they're... And the Cardinal Sim says you could never engage the male gaze like that today. But I think it's really tastefully done.
today it's not. You just can't. Doesn't matter how well you do it. Unfortunately, it would be sexual harassment.
I just call it flirting. James
Yeah, I know,
Caserta
right?
says the denouncement could have been better. The denouement?
Denouement.
Denouement.
Spray tanning, I don't know, maybe, but I
Oh,
know
the end of the
we
episode. Thank you for teaching me a word today. If anyone doesn't know what denouement means, it means the final resolution or clarification of a dramatic or narrative plot.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt. Scotty said he'll be right back.
Okay.
So Calvatino Cavalryman said they do spray tanning during the 60s. And hello to Snortapoopus Cuber. He's here. I'm glad you want me to forget the last comment, Dalek, because I totally missed it.
Hail, Dalek. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you, though. And Rodriguez and Teller aren't really worried about the power drains or communication interruptions because they're trapped by a tiger. Luckily,
when that happens.
Right? Luckily, the tiger gets bored and leaves, I guess.
Anyway, what are you guys up to? Nothing? All right, I'll see you later.
No, not too much. Just Barros is emerging from her changing room looking very lovely and happy in her princess fantasy creation. And Kirk gives a nice little recap for his silliness so far. He says, first, there was McCoy's Alice in Wonderland, where there was supposedly no animal life, and Sulu's gun, where there's no refined metal detected. Rodriguez's birds, and then, well, my two people I saw.
Yeah, can you go back two scenes? There's the object that protrudes out of the console in TAS.
Oh, it's much smaller.
Yes, it's much smaller and inset. But that's what I believe they're trying to convey in TAS, but it's drawn too large, and it protrudes over the edge of the surface of the console. Sorry, go ahead, Jill.
Mm-hmm. No, that's cool. That's great to finally see that it's a thing.
Right, because we were confused when we were watching TAS. Like, what is that? Where did it come from? Right.
And Spock wonders if these could be hallucinations, but Kirk gives evidence that these strange things are tangible, since Finnegan gave him a cloud on the jaw. So he's been actually physically... but he doesn't tell Spock about the kiss, notably.
He kissed Finnegan?
Ruth.
Oh, my mistake.
I have a production note. Gerald Fried based the Finnegan theme on the Irish jig heard during the climactic fight scene between John Wayne and Victor McLagan in The Quiet Man, 1952.
Nice. I just
And
found
this was
out
also
there was a video
Gerald
game
Fried's
called The Quiet Man. Anyway.
It says also this was composer Gerald Fried's first Star Trek assignment. A great deal of new music was written for this episode, including the jig that plays when Finnegan appears, the flute and string piece that is played when Kirk meets Ruth is heard again in Star Trek The Side of Paradise, and a slightly different orchestration crops up in Star Trek The Apple. A snatch of Finnegan's jig can be heard in Star Trek The City on the Edge of Forever after Kirk and Spock escape from the policeman. The theme can also be heard in Star Trek Wolf in the Fold.
Yay, I was right.
Yep, you were right.
Great.
Thank you.
That's great. Oh, okay, about the music? Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I do remember
I do like the music in this episode.
We'll steal from the rich and give back to the poor later.
Yeah, and I'm curious about, it says the preview of this episode shows Yeoman Barrows being accosted by Don Juan while wearing her princess costume. This scene was not used in the final cut.
Oh, I thought I saw her, or I saw her get sort of.
Yeah, but she had her uniform. She had a repaired version of her uniform on.
No, but at the end, after when Kirk is all busted.
But she takes off her princess uniform and puts on a repaired TOS uniform.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah. So that's
ever
when
have-
she gets costume.
You ever have one of those moments where your dog is looking at you and being like, "Are you still talking about Star Trek?" And I have to look at him back and be like, "Yes, Snoop, I'm still talking about Star Trek."
I have 3 dogs that stare at me when I do that.
It's usually my
and
cat.
I also want to share.
She's rolling into my computer and trying to nibble on the cords.
Snoop just keeps playing with my
She wants attention from mommy. Paint was applied to some of the rocks and trees, which have been doctored with streaks of red spray paint, presumably to make them look more exotic. This technique can also be seen in Star Trek: A Private Little War. And according to interviews with Bill Blackburn, the guy who dressed as the rabbit, he not only voiced the White Rabbit, but he also did the announcements heard in Act 1, dismissing different sections of the ship for shore leave in alphabetical order.
Oh, cool. Wonderful. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that one. So Spock wonders if he should send down an armed party, but Kirk says there's been no danger so far. So, he's just, it's totally fine. Everything's cool. So Sulu walks along by the cliff face, and a hatch opens in the ground, and out comes a samurai to attack him. And
I'm glad you covered this. I have a... Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, Sulu's phaser doesn't work, and he's forced to dodge the sword.
Did you guys notice anything about this scene? No?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
No.
I'll let you finish. That's okay. I'll let you finish, and then I'll show it. There. You notice anything between those 2 shots? Probably not. All right. Let me share a video. I'm going to show a video here. Let me pull it up.
Okay, great. Sounds great.
Okay, here we go.
And Sulu calls after Captain Kirk, warns him about the samurai, and that their weapons no longer work. Their power has been drained too.
Okay. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is this was clearly shot at nighttime. You could tell it's night. You could see the surround darkness, and you could tell they're having to flood it with lights. You could tell by the different shadows on the walls from different angles, so they're having to use a lot of lights. So this falls into how they were late on how the shooting went over schedule. So they were actually shooting a lot of night shots in this. So let me go forward a little bit here. So here we are nighttime. And then daytime when Sulu runs over the rock saying, "A samurai's after me." So we went from night to day in that one scene there. Here we go. Thank you, Jill.
Nice. That's awesome.
And I've been in that very same spot many times, by the way.
The night shot kind of made me feel like Sulu was like in a cave or tunnel.
It did seem like that, didn't it? But that is definitely out where that was shot was definitely exterior. And when I post my video, I'll work on that this week. I'll get that video posted. I just need to edit it. And I shot a lot of video around that area. So I will cover that with you guys later.
Nice. Very cool. So yeah. The power drain thing is still happening. Who knows why it's happening? But we don't have to worry about it for too long.
Well, it's funny earlier when Captain Kirk was talking to Spock over the communicator and they were having trouble. And Spock told him over the communicator, he said, well, the interference is causing problems with our communications. And Kirk was so infatuated with the woman that he said, okay, call me back. And Spock had just told him, right? Spock had just told him they were having trouble with communications, and then Kirk is looking at that woman, right? And he says, "Okay, call me back." And that's why Spock beams down, because Spock says, "Look, I was trying to call you and I couldn't." All right, go ahead, Jill.
Yeah, so I guess in a way, even though this planet isn't drugs, it's kind of like your imagination is becoming manifest. So that is in a way like getting high, but.
Right. And well, he's very distracted too because Helen was there, whatever her name was.
Ruth.
Thank you, Ruth. I keep thinking of tubes. I just don't want to say tubes. So it's Ruth. Yeah.
Ruth.
So Mr. Spock, he makes it to the planet. But after that, they can't use the transporters again, and the ship can no longer communicate with the landing party, which is why he transported over in the first place.
And Spock beamed within just a few feet of where the Metron beams in Arena.
Oh, that's nice too.
Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, back to
And
Africa, USA.
yeah. Yeah, still not understanding that that their imaginations are manifesting into robots. McCoy tells Barrows, "A princess shouldn't be afraid, not with a brave knight to protect her. A knight in armor on a black horse has appeared and is coming towards them." And we know McCoy meant himself, not a literal knight, but that's still what occurs. I guess maybe he was thinking of himself as a knight. But McCoy thinks these are hallucinations, so he stands in front of the knight resolutely, and Kirk and Spock arrive on the scene. The knight lowers
Just
his
as it's
lance.
right. Excellent costume.
He charges and runs McCoy through. Barrow screams and Spock draws his phaser.
Kirk shoots the knight with the gun.
Oh yeah, with the gun that he got from Solow.
Right.
And then he shoots the knight from his horse. And I'll run over to McCoy. And Barrows announces that he's dead. And we get a captain's log. Of course, announces it, and she's crying quite a bit. Captain's log supplemental. All contact with the Enterprise has been lost. We're trapped here. Our ship's surgeon, my personal friend, is dead. We're certain now that whatever we're facing is terribly real. So, and this is my favorite part of the whole episode. Barrows is trying to blame herself for what happened to McCoy, and Kirk helps her pull it together, reminds her of her duty, which is amazing, and she pulls it around quickly. All Kirk says
And
is,
nobody asked, where'd you get that outfit? Why are you dressed like that?
well, I think at this point they're used to weird things happening. Yeah,
I
man,
guess
we're
so,
in
right.
trouble. I need every crewman alert and thinking. And that works. And they see that the knight just looks like a plastic dummy underneath.
And I
The
have a clip to
tricorder.
share with you in this scene.
Oh, sweet. The tricorder still works, so Spock uses it to find the skin is not human. He says, it more closely resembles the cellular castings we use for wound repairs, much finer, of course. This is definitely a mechanical contrivance. It has the same basic cell structure as the plants here, even the trees, the grass. I'm saying that these are multicellular castings. The plants, the animals, the people, they're all being manufactured. All we know for certain is that they act exactly like the real thing, just as pleasant or just as deadly.
Okay, and this is a scene where Spock is explaining this to Kirk, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Except the
Yes.
difference is this is nighttime, almost dark. You can tell because it's almost dark. You look at the sky, and they're having to use a lot of lights on Spock, not the natural sun. Now watch this. Cut to Kirk, and what do we have? Bright daylight. So those two scenes were shot at completely different times. The two were not even looking at each other when they shot those scenes.
Even though he's talking to him, you don't realize that he's not
Day,
really.
night, day, night. You can tell
Well,
what
hang on a
sky.
second before you
And the
go all
light-
crazy with this.
The lighting.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's what I posit.
Go ahead.
Okay, don't ever play that again. So, this was at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the later one was at like 5 o'clock. I'm saying it's the same day. I'm saying it's shot reverse.
Oh yeah,
shot.
the same
They
day,
were
very
both
possible,
there.
right?
They could be talking to each other. I'm just saying it was so
But it
late
was
in the
definitely
day.
two different times.
Yeah, they had to light Spock as opposed to they didn't have to when we were doing. Well, Kirk is like Shatner's the star of the show, so they would have done his scenes earlier, and then they would have done the reverse on Spock because this is still very early in the run.
Right, but you could tell the stark difference between natural sunlight and studio light.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Like this was
Yes,
shot with
it's
studio
nice.
light. You could tell
Yes.
by the reflection on the forehead of the mannequin.
For sure.
And I'm guessing
Yeah,
that's a real person
that's
with
obviously
makeup, by the
studio
way.
light. That's studio light right there, for sure.
Right. And
That's
artificial
AstroTurf as well. Yeah.
AstroTurf, yes.
Oops. All
Okay,
right.
we're ready to continue, Jill. Thank
AstroTurf.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Developed by the Houston Astros, hence the clever name.
So then there's a buzzing sound in the air, and an airplane flies overhead. And Teller and Rodriguez imagine the plane doing a strafing run to shoot at them. So that's what ends up happening. They run along the path as a second plane joins the first, straight into a clump of trees. And I think Angela falls to the ground, having hit the tree. I think she had a different name in this episode, but
I'm looking it up
I'm
right
really
now.
confused about her name. But I think she's meant to be the same character eventually, but with a different last name.
Angela Martine.
That's what I was wondering. Was she shot with a bullet or
was she shot with a bullet?
No, my question was, she shot with a bullet or did she run into the tree?
I think she ran into the tree.
Okay, because that's hilarious. Because McCoy had her by, or that guy, was it McCoy, had her by the arm, and he basically ran her right into
Rodriguez.
the tree, right?
This is a Teller, so yeah.
Rodriguez, right?
Yeah,
right. So yeah, he led her right into the tree. If that's the case, I should have got a clip of that part. It was hilarious.
Well, and hey, Poopus, nice to see you. And apparently, in this episode, she is referred to as Angela, and in the episode "Balance of Terror," she was Lieutenant Angela Martine. So I would say, same character.
Oh,
which
and
is
Podrickson says, "What is this track we speak of?" Anyway, which is what? Oh, okay. Tell me about her name. Say it again, please. I was listening.
Angela Martine. And
Angela Martine is her name in Balance of Terror.
Yes.
And this episode is Angela Teller.
Oh, sisters? No, that doesn't work.
Mary Teller, and then
Mary Teller Moore.
I don't know. I'm confused about her name a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna.
First,
you know
I
what?
read Mary, and then I heard Angela.
Different actor, different character. Let's say. Hey, Matt G. Thank you.
And Admiral Teague says, "Oh, sorry, Matt G is rich." Oh, thank you, Matt G, for tipping $1. That's so nice. You're always very sweet. Angela. Oh, gosh darn it! My fault.
You know what? I almost heard an F-bomb. That was great.
I was able to curb it that time.
Good work.
Admiral Teague says some of the desires and fantasies we see sort of show how much the Enterprise crew have semi-sexual death wishes. What?
Do we need to wrap this up soon, Jill?
Oh, I've got about 30 minutes, so I can.
All right.
I'm just looking for anything about the episode in the comments here.
Actress Emily Banks, who played Yeoman Tonya Barrows in her only appearance on the series, was interviewed by Entertainment Weekly for an All-Star Trek issue in 1994. Banks said that her most vivid memory of the appearance was that she seemed to be running all the time. Or as she described it, she told the producers, "You don't want actors, you want Olympic athletes." Unused to this much sprinting, Banks said that her legs were stiff and sore for several days after the shooting wrapped.
Oh, that's
from running.
Just adorable. I'm sorry. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm an actor and I'm going to be on this action show and I have to run. What do you mean run? I don't
Well,
run.
yeah, it's like, right, run from this point to that point, take 2, take 3, take 4, take 5.
For
take 6.
sure. But it's also like when we were watching Westworld a little while ago and it was, Richard Benjamin had said, they were like, well, you're going to have to ride a horse. Do you know how to ride a horse? And he was like, of course I do, not knowing how to ride a horse. And so it's one of those things where, like, when you're an actor, it's like, okay, can you do this? Because we'll pay you. And you say yes.
Right. All actors say yes by default. And then figure it out later once they get the job. Yes.
I had to run so much the other day. Yes, Carol. It must have been difficult. I was welding.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
So
a shot of Finnegan on top of Mount Solow.
yeah, Sulu notices that McCoy's body is gone as well as the night, and this is the point where Spock figures out that everything is being manufactured from the imaginations of the crew. And Kirk tries to get some answers about the planet from Finnegan, but that doesn't go over well. He jumps on Kirk, and they have a fight.
Ah, Jimmy, me boy.
Oh, hey, thank you. Cardinalson just tipped $6.66.
Very
Thanks
nice.
for being one of the greatest YouTube shows out there ever. Wow. Thank you so much, Cardinalson. That is
And
so nice of you.
you'll notice in this scene where them two are wrestling that they obviously place sand down on the ground to soften it because that's all hard pan around there. There's no sand like that around Basker's Rocks. So that was added to pad the ground for the stuntmen.
Well, yeah, like you put little rocks in the playground to soften the blow for kids on playgrounds.
Rocks in the playgrounds to soften the blow. I like that one.
Well, from where kids fall off the monkey bars and stuff. And Finnegan knocks Kirk down, and he teases him about his age, and so they fight. And Kirk punches Finnegan until he falls down the rocky slope and ends up writhing in pain. Where's that part?
This is basically the entire rest of the episode.
this is basically the whole episode. Yeah, and there's a part.
Ah, Jimmy, me boy.
Oh yeah, there he is. He's
I broke
in
me
pain.
back, Jimmy. I can't feel me legs.
But that's a ruse. He pretends his back is broken and then kicks Kirk to the ground. And Kirk passes out.
You sleep, Jimmy boy. Sleep as long as you'd like. Sleep forever.
Nice.
Yeah, and by the way, that actor Bruce Mars Finnegan would appear in Star Trek Assignment Earth as a police officer named Charlie.
Oh, cool. I can't wait.
Oh, wow. Really? I didn't realize he came back in another episode.
Neither did I.
At the end of the previous episode, Balance of Terror, Yeoman Angela was grieving in the chapel because her fiance had just been killed in the fight with the Romulans. Here she is seen in the arms of Lieutenant Rodriguez, apparently having overcome her grief. Quickly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, unless it's a different character because she has a different name, Mary. Teller.
Yeah, that's possible.
But it could be that she is still Angela. I don't know. I need to know more about what they're doing with her. Unless this is the last time we ever see her.
I think this is the last time.
So they throw dirt at each other until they're too tired to continue. And Kirk still keeps trying to get some answers.
Dirty tactic.
Yeah. But all Finnegan says is, I'm being exactly what you... Well, you know what? I can't do this.
I'm just being exactly what you want, Jimmy me by. You wanted to pummel me? Pummel me. Hi, diddly diddly dee potatoes.
Thank you. It's hilarious. I don't know.
It's offensive, and I'm ashamed of myself.
Well, as you should be.
Thank you.
This is what is missing so much from TNG right here. I just miss it.
Oh, like just bare knuckle brawling.
Well,
yeah, action, right?
Yeah. Well, my favorite part is when Spock at the very end, he says, did you enjoy it?" But we also see Kirk's shirt rip, and now I have something from my book. It says, the Star Trek 365 says, "There's no denying that Captain Kirk can be hard on his wardrobe. Time after time, his garments have been exposed to the kind of sartorial mayhem that would make even a seasoned seamstress weep. But in Shore Leave, Kirk's shirt actually seems to rend itself. Case in point, Kirk's tussle with the old rival Finnegan is definitely rough and tumble, but his gold tunic is clearly intact throughout the sequence in which Finnegan slams the captain to the ground. Nevertheless, when the camera moves in for a tight close-up, Kirk's garment is mysteriously torn to shreds. Script
And
super.
Bruce, go ahead. Go ahead, Jill. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I don't mind if you got something to share.
Oh no! I want you to finish first, please.
Okay. Script supervision is usually one of the most steadfast aspects of television and film production. It's the supervisor's difficult job to oversee continuity from scene to scene, noting everything from the way an actor is standing to the way the scene is lit. But given that Shore Leave's script was being rewritten as it was shot, every department had its hands full, much too full. Here and there, the wardrobe continuity became a bit, well, non-contiguous. Here, Yeoman Barrow's uniform, which suffers damage following an attack by Don Juan, shows some similar inconsistencies from scene to scene. And a last-minute name change for actress Barbara Baldwin from Mary Teller to Angela Martin, the character she played in Balance of Terror, somehow didn't get dubbed in during post-production for scenes shot prior to the name change. Hence, she is referred to by different names at different points in the story.
Oh,
That explains it. Okay.
Right? That makes sense why we're all confused.
Right,
Compounding
confused.
matter.
Right. And Bruce
Every
Mars, the guy who played Finnegan, had his 31st birthday, October 23rd, 1966, during filming of this episode.
nice.
Cool. Yeah, that's pretty great. That's like how Charlie X was in his late 20s playing a teenager. And compounding matters, everyone in the production seemed to have a pet element to work into this story about a planet where thoughts became reality. Some made it into the script, some didn't. A live tiger was rented. But although William Shatner reportedly hoped to wrestle it to the ground, the idea was nixed. The tiger's appearance was brief and relegated to the sidelines. An elephant was also rented but never got its moment on the camera, just like Pop Culture mentioned earlier. Despite the topsy-turvy nature of the production, however, Shore Leave is inarguably one of Star Trek's most popular episodes.
It is, and I saw somebody mention in the chat that this was the first episode they purchased.
Oh, wow.
Oh, great! Like a VHS tape.
Right, probably. I'm guessing
individual.
when they were very expensive. Yes, VHS and then DVD eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a clip I'd like to share.
Okay, great. Share it.
All right, here we go.
There you go.
Okay, here's where Finnegan is being playful. Now, what I want you to do is as I hit play on this, it's only a few seconds. So everybody, I want you to focus on the bottom right-hand side of the screen.
Okay.
And here we go.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a camera
one is
rig.
easy to see. You know, lots of times...
Right, so that is a camera rig.
I don't see anything, but this is obvious.
Right, and you can see it following along Finnegan because it's on a track.
Mm-hmm.
So here, and then there as he's jumping for joy, and he's running along, and you can see it actually following him. That is the camera. It's on a dolly, which is on a track. Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome. Thank you. Very cool. So, Spock explains his theory. Where is he? They're still fighting. There's a lot of fighting.
I know, I love it.
Did you enjoy it? And yes. Yes.
I beat him up.
You did.
Very interesting way to spend your leisure time, Captain.
Spock explains his theory here. The force field we encountered is obviously underground, manufacturing these things. Passages lead to the surface. Just for example, when Rodriguez thought of a tiger, which is just okay, right, okay. So,
I have this idea. I was thinking that maybe Captain Kirk could wrestle the tiger to the ground.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants to do. But
It'll be me versus the tiger.
but the tiger doesn't really do too much in this episode. It's just chilling around, and so they're able to back away from it, and it doesn't cause any trouble. You could even see
Gene.
the little chain around the tiger's neck.
Gene, you're gonna have to
Yes.
talk to the tiger. It's lazy.
I think that's a good thing as far as
Yeah,
tigers are
probably.
concerned. You want a lazy tiger.
Alternate history. William Shatner was mauled by a tiger today.
I know the episode in which he was allowed to wrestle tiger. Oh my
Yes. William Shatner got into a fight with a tiger today. Things went well for the tiger.
god. That's a good thing they talked about that, isn't it?
Yes, they couldn't get insured. I also like this, and again, this just leads back to Kirk's command style, and it's like when you don't know what to do with your crew, tell them to do something.
Yeah, that's right. He tells them to stop thinking about everything except being at attention. And but I did miss the part.
Oh yeah, yes.
But I did miss the part where
Go ahead,
Barrows changes back into her uniform, where Don Juan sneaks up on them. But by the time Kirk and Spock get there, he runs away anyway. So that's why I think
Yes.
I almost missed that.
And I wanted to bring up something. I have a clip here, but since you have this still photo, I don't need to show the clip. Kirk tells them all to stand at attention. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, and to only think about being at attention.
Right. And okay, I'm going to share. This is not a clip, but a picture of a military stance at attention. And I know
All right.
I was in the military. Asking
If Cardinal Simpson says Captain
let me
Kirk
know when you
had
have
a
this,
hard
Jill.
Okay. If Captain Kirk had a hard time with the Irishman, I don't think he'd fare very well against the tiger. I think that's right.
Exactly.
Well, what are we looking at here?
This is a
That
man
is
at
a military
attention.
stance when someone tells stand at attention.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That's a soldier. So notice how his arms are at his sides. Notice his hands.
Yeah.
And notice his feet. That is proper attention stance. Doesn't matter if you're in the Army or the Marines or the Air Force. That's attention. Now, Jill, show your clip again. That one shot you were showing.
Mm-hmm. And
They're all
Solow
standing
is
at
at
different
attention.
poses.
Solow seems to match
well,
your
actually,
figure pretty well.
their
Barrow
feet
is the
are
one
not.
who's doing it
Well,
best.
what it is none of them are at attention.
No,
Actually, that's what
No.
you think
Okay,
that they would at
let's
least somebody. Now remember, the heels have to touch. The heels have to touch each other. Arms down and your hands cusped, closed.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying Barrow is probably the closest.
But
I don't know,
they're
I
all.
feel like
But the
Sulu's
point is, they're all standing differently. You think that somebody on the
Yeah.
set would have said, "Look, if it's supposed to be attention, shouldn't they all be standing the same? Even if we don't know what
Right.
attention is, shouldn't they all be standing the same?"
That's
Because
true.
he tells them all attention.
Where was
but
the
they're all standing
military
in two different
consultant for
poses.
sure leave?
Well, Gene Roddenberry was right there.
I know, right?
There was supposed to be several, supposedly.
There
But
are
that's one
lots
thing
of
that it
people
just
who
seemed
were
like
in the
I don't know.
military.
Yeah, but I don't know. This I would not have noticed when I was a kid, but I noticed since I've been in the military that. Yeah, I would say her in the center is the closest to it. Is what a lot of people think that attention is the way she's standing. The way the two gentlemen on either side of her are standing at what's called at ease.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's actually stand easy.
Stand easy.
Because
I
at
heard that
ease would
term.
have your
Maybe
hands
that's-
clasped behind your
Maybe that's
back.
Canadian. Oh yeah,
Well,
your
at
feet
ease-
spread apart. Yes.
Yeah. But you have your hands clasped behind your backs when you're at ease. This is stand easy.
But yeah, definitely not
I
attention.
get it, Canadian too.
Well, they're fired.
All right, go ahead, Jill. Or they're fired. Because Captain would say, "What is this? This isn't attention, people."
Well, okay. See, Starfleet is quasi-military. Well, because Starfleet is Gene Roddenberry's dream of what the military will be in the future. So,
I'm
yeah,
expecting
they
the
are.
drill
They are
sergeant
the
from Full Metal Jacket to walk up
Mhm.
and be like, "You call that attention, son? I didn't know they
And
piled Klingon poo this high."
Admiral.
Well,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jill.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to say, even if it's not military, the point is they should all be standing the same. They all went to Starfleet Academy.
That's
So
true. I
regardless,
agree.
regardless of what their version of attention is, they should all be
That's a
standing the
good
same
point.
way.
This is my phaser. This is my gun. One is for tribbles, the other's for fun.
And Admotique says, I'm guessing George is standing in the way he was told to stand at roll call when the government put him in jail for after Pearl Harbor. Oh.
Well,
Oh,
Yeah, that's the internment camps. Yeah, there was a whole George Takei did an entire play
yeah.
about his time at those camps, and I watched it, and it was not a proud time for the American government to be doing something
Yeah,
that terrible.
and it's strange considering that George Takei is now a fascist. It's fascinating, isn't it?
I don't like to get into politics of my Star Trek characters on my Star Trek show, but
I agree.
yeah, it's not fun because I met George Takei and he really does love his fans, but just something.
He does.
There's a disconnect there. You're right.
thank you, Poopus and Sin, for
Wow,
shouting
there's
out
so many.
Arlie Ermy. I
Yeah.
forgot his name. Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
There's
Arlie
so many
Ermy.
great chats here. I can't read all of them because I got to go soon.
What are you doing to my
what am I
beloved
doing?
fleet, crewman power?
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So he and his people have just figured out that the landing party didn't understand what was going on. He explains, "Oh, okay. Here. Okay. So here's where the caretaker appears. He's smiling. He's a gray-haired man in a long green robe, and he and his people have
He
just
says
figured
nothing. Right, he
Yeah.
says nothing until somebody asks him a question. I thought that was kind of odd. You think he would come out introducing himself?
Right. No, he just appears weird, oddly. Like, it's just like, who is this guy? He explains, though, eventually. None of this is permanent. Here you have to only imagine your fondest wishes, either old ones you wish to relive or new ones. Battle, fear, love, triumph, anything that pleases you can be made to happen. The term is amusement park. The caretaker says his people made the planet to have a place to play. And Sulu says, play? As advanced as you obviously are, and you still play? And Kirk says, yes, play, Mr. Sulu. The more complex the mind, the greater the need for the simplicity of play.
Well, and does anybody ask him why is this interfering with the ship's power, and why is it not interfering anymore? And now communications are working.
They don't.
Uhura calls back and says, "Remember that thing? Never mind."
Yeah, she
right.
says. She says everything is great.
Yeah, everything is just suddenly resolved, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's what happens. Kirk asks about the death of McCoy, who then strolls in. When does he stroll in? Oh, well, here. There he
big
goes.
Smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
So the gentleman who plays the caretaker or the keeper or whatever you want to call him is Oliver McGowan. And he had quite a prolific career. He was on My Three Sons, Mannix, The Brady Bunch, Land of the Giants, That Girl, Mayberry RFD, which would have been Andy of Mayberry before it was rebranded. Yeah. The Flying Nun.
There you go. The big one.
The Monkees, Wild Wild West.
Wow.
Yeah, he played a bad guy a lot of times too, the antagonist. Good actor.
Well.
And one thing I wanted to mention too is when Bones pops up with the two women, it seems like as captain, his first duty would be to have Bones examined to make sure that's really Bones.
That's a good point. Well, how do we know that he? Okay, so McCoy is a replicant.
Oh no!
That's what I'm saying. Right. Right. How do we know we're really talking to McCoy? Because they saw him dead, right?
The McCoy we know and love is gone, and now he's a golem.
And obviously, those women are plays on the Playboy Bunny.
Yes, they're bunnies. So that's a reference to the rabbit we saw earlier. There are 3 bunnies in this episode. Um, and McCoy explains, I was taken below the surface for some rather remarkable repairs. It's amazing. They've got a factory complex down there you wouldn't believe. They can build or do anything immediately. And and you're
Sorry.
right, they should have checked him. But this is a very classic original series explanation for what's going on. We have an extraordinarily advanced race
And
who believes humanity is not ready to understand them,
yeah, and I
but
think
they're
it's supposed.
still nice.
I, I think it's supposed to be written kind of like a lighthearted comedy as well.
Yes, exactly. So the aliens are still nice and accommodating, even allowing the crew to have shore leave on the planet, even though the robots on the shore leave planet are not hallucinations. Though I guess this is kind of like when you take a real hallucinatory substance, and if you don't have a babysitter or someone helping you understand what to expect, you're going to have a bad time. And that is what the shore leave episode is to me.
A bad trip.
A bad trip until you realize you're tripping, and then you can have fun.
And this is where they all realize, oh, not only can I create a robot out of anything I think, but that robot will do anything I say.
Yeah. Well,
No.
then you get into Westworld territory when you get past that, maybe. Tonya Barros is very jealous of McCoy's ladies coming out of the underground. From underground, he then knew how the planet worked. So these ladies came from a cabaret he knew about. But Barros makes her intentions clear, so he does dismiss them very respectfully, which is really great. McCoy's always a gentleman, I think. About this, the book says, here. He says, I've got a personal grudge against that rabbit, Jim. Yeah, and that is just a good line. McCoy is the first Enterprise crew member to experience the wonders of this strange amusement park planet. In a world where idle thoughts instantly manifest into reality, McCoy finds himself face to face with the White Rabbit from Lewis Carroll's fanciful tale, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Unaware that he himself is the author of this fantastical scenario, McCoy can't help feeling resentful when his report to the captain is met with good-natured skepticism on Kirk's part. Later that day, after he's gotten the hang of how the place works, McCoy conjures up 2 scantily clad young ladies from the Rigel 2 cabaret, bunnies of a very different kind, much to the jealous yeoman Barrow's displeasure. Ironically, this episode would not be DeForest Kelley's sole encounter with giant rabbits. 6 years later, the actor would run into them again. The horrific 1972 B-movie Night of the Lepus.
Lepus.
Night of the Lepus.
Yeah, giant rabbits. Directed by Bert I. Gordon. B.I.G.
Oh, wow.
This time, however, the shoes on the other foot are rather paw, as overly large beasts, the result of, what else? Man's infernal tampering with nature. Develop a taste for flesh and start munching on the locals in his town.
Yes, yeah, it is true. It's basically a lot of shots of rabbits running and jumping in slow motion.
And probably people bleeding and stuff. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
There was a little bit of gore, yeah.
So Uhura reports that. Sorry, I'm still thinking of killer rabbits. Okay.
Well, it's interesting because McCoy made DeForest Kelley made a movie about killer rabbits, and William Shatner made Kingdom of the Spiders about the spiders. So they both delved into a little bit of horror there.
Oh, and Leonard Nimoy was in Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Well, yeah, that's probably the best one out of the 3,
Yes.
because I love that movie.
It is. It was the best. Yes.
Jill, I've never seen it.
Jill, have you seen all of them?
Just that one.
Jill, have you seen? Oh, because you should. I recommend the original with Kevin McCarthy.
Mm-hmm. I did intend to go back and watch that one, but you know why I watched the newer one.
I believe
because
so.
of your
But no.
crazy obsession with Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
And then it was done again with Meg Tilly in I believe the 80s or early 90s. All three were really good
Oh.
versions.
Well, then
I
there's
never
the
seen
Nicole
that one.
Kidman, Daniel Craig one as
Yeah.
well.
I'm not going to mention that one. Box office poison. Yeah, no, you avoid that one at all
Not so
costs.
good, apparently, says Pop Culture Curator. I believe you.
Yeah.
So her reports that the power systems have come back. Oh man, I'm getting close to the end of my stream here.
Yeah.
That's the main thing I don't understand. Why would an advance? Why was that system draining the Enterprise's power? It doesn't make sense, and it's never explained. But Uhura says everything's fine now.
Right.
So I guess the caretaker took care of it. I guess the caretaker was like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's not supposed to be happening," and he stopped it. He stopped the power drain.
Or he flipped the switch.
We're not supposed to be plugged into that.
Yeah, that's my only guess. But all they needed was a line or two to explain that.
Yeah.
Sorry about the power drain. It was a complete mistake on our part. We draw power from the planet and anything that orbits the planet. But since y'all are orbiting the planet, we're drawing power from you, and so that's the mistake. We're stop doing that now, and that would have been great. That's
it would have been nice if they had one throwaway line for Spock saying.
It seems that they are
nice
symbiotic planets, Captain. They require the power of those orbiting who take advantage of their pleasures.
Mm-hmm. But then Kirk decides it's all right for everyone to enjoy some shore leave, and they do.
Hey, Susan.
And Spock,
with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
Decides,
with regards to the young lady.
Yeah. See, everyone is very respectful of these robots, and I love it. It's great. It's fun.
Right here is where Spock should have said, "Thank you, but Spock should be interested on seeing the inside of that planet." That's what Spock would be doing.
You're right. That's a good point. But no, he decides he's had enough of shore leave, and that the whole idea of it is illogical. But you're right. But we don't get to see the inside of the planet until the animated series.
Wait, go back one. Maybe it's formal wear Harley Quinn.
That's possible.
I'm fascinated by Ruth's costume.
It also makes me think of Cruella de Vil from the 101 Dalmatians, because her hair is black and white like that.
See you later, Papa Palpatine.
Bye, Papa Palpatine. Glad you were here today.
Palpatine.
I had lots of amazing people in the chat that I haven't really been able to talk to. But, see, there's my phone that says it's time to go.
Okay. Well, luckily, everyone is just doing their thing on the planet, and then they all get back with, like, post-coital joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they had fun on shore leave.
Yeah, fun.
And it was most illogical.
Yes, and they all chuckle and laugh.
Emily Banks.
Very musical today. This episode is very musical.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you. Emily Banks was Yeoman Barrows, Tonya. Oliver McGowan.
Yeah.
As a caretaker, and Perry Lopez as Rodriguez.
Do we get Angela, Barbara Baldavin?
Okay, so she is Angela in this episode. Angela,
the grieving widow of Tomlinson.
Yeah, so she is supposed to be Angela Martine, but they just didn't fix it in production. They just left it as Teller. And
Bruce Mars as Finnegan. I won't do the accent again. You're welcome.
And the little girl who played Alice is Marsha Brown.
Marsha.
No mention of who played the rabbit.
Oh no.
True.
The Samurai Warrior with Sebastian Tom, with Ruth as Shirley Bone. And yeah, you're right. They don't mention William, but you did. Thank you for that.
My pleasure. That was fun. That was a blast.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love this episode.
Yeah.
Well,
I know we have to. I know we have to wrap this up, and I know we're going to give our reviews now. But I just
Yes.
want you to add one thing to your review if you can. If you were
Sure.
on that planet, what would be the one thing that you would dream for?
Oh, that's a really great question. Wow. What would you dream for?
Well, when I was a kid, it was
No, I
like
didn't
roller
think about
coasters,
it.
dinosaurs, and all that stuff. But what this episode really moved me because now at my age, it would be like my dead mother, relatives, and people that have passed away,
Oh,
people
that's
that I haven't seen in a long time. That's what
yeah,
I never would have thought that as a
then you
kid, but
could,
that's what.
and then you could ride with them on the roller coasters.
Right, exactly right.
You
But
could
that's what it
merge
because
the
I'm
two.
old and I've lost a lot of family and friends, and that's what that's be the first thing I would wish up would be my long past family and
Yeah,
friends.
yeah. Mine is more similar to your childhood one, which would be to be able to visit all the places I've been wanting to travel.
Yes.
It's a really good question. I don't know how to answer it.
What are you,
Like
Scotty?
my initial reaction is obviously like 80s teen comedy, so it's not, suitable for broadcast. But if I were to factual, like I would probably I don't know. I would probably go with a hoverboard.
Oh, that would be cool. Some technology that doesn't exist that will
Yeah.
exist. That you could ask this amazingly advanced alien race to create for you.
Or maybe
Then if you want to be Spock about it,
Well,
you
that's
can
true.
backwards engineer it and actually make it into reality and make some money back at home.
well, no, but like shore leave, I kind of feel like shore leave is at the end of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You can play with whatever you want on the planet, but you can't make it cross the seal. Like it stays on the planet. So, and I don't know, like I don't think it's proper or gentlemanly to, wish my ex-girlfriends back into existence via robot. I think that that's a little offside. I don't have anybody that I really want to beat up. I haven't lost anybody, and even then, I wouldn't want to pretend like this has echoes of the Nexus, where
That's
Kirk
true.
where Kirk is like, but none of it matters because none of it's real. So I don't know if I would recreate something to relive. I'd want something new, and that's why it's a hard question.
That is also brought up in the Orville really well when Isaac is gone and
Claire.
yeah, Claire's kid brings him back. Ty, he brings Isaac back, and he's trying to interact with him, but he brings him back as a hologram on the environmental simulator, and his mom
And then
has to come and tell him that that's not a good thing to do.
right, and then she
Oh.
immediately does the exact same thing as soon as he leaves.
Yeah, right, exactly. No, it's season 3.
What if I say I want okay, here's what I would do. If I were on that planet, I would hang out with Warner Brothers cartoon characters. I want Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Foghorn Leghorn. Let's go.
Oh, we
Have
better wear a
you
lot of
ever been
pads.
to Six Flags?
I've never been to Six Flags. Maybe that's
Yeah,
why.
good.
There you go. But it is an amusement park, an old time expression from Earth.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, we could talk about that forever. Fun things to
I
do
know.
on the planet.
Sorry about that. I just had
No,
to
but
ask.
No, it's great.
that's a wonderful thing because that's why to me shore leave is, well, I guess a combination of the holodeck and Ryza.
Well, and Triple C says it best. What would happen if Khan went to Fantasy Island? The starship.
Yeah, I was showing my mom who Khan was last night because she bought me a Funko pop of him for my birthday. And
nice.
and I was showing her who he was, and she was like, "Oh, from Fantasy Island."
Oh, so she bought it not
Precisely.
knowing who he was, right, Jill?
Yeah, she had no idea. But
She just knew it was Star Trek and you would like it.
Right.
Gotcha.
So I really love this episode, even more after talking about it. It's a very simple and fun episode, and I adore every second of it. And there's a reason why it is on my rewatch rotation. I want to rewatch something. Surely comes up quite a bit, and because it's just so much fun. You the first time you don't really know why all of the silliness is occurring. Seems like pure fantasy, with the literature coming to life, like Alice in Wonderland and Don Juan, and just pure thought manifesting into existence. And then, of course, now from the research we've done, I realized that Gene Roddenberry gets his hand on this wonderful story and infuses some science into it. That maybe these aliens can read your thoughts and manifest your imagination, but these things are not coming out of nowhere. They're being manufactured. They're manufactured robots, and the repair that these aliens can achieve is not only mechanical but biological, as they find McCoy a simple job to repair, notwithstanding the theory that he might be a robot. Probably as easy as it was, fixing McCoy was as easy as it was to repair the Knight, probably. I just imagine. But of course, we don't get to see how, because this is a classic Star Trek alien who is too advanced for us to ever understand. And sometimes I'm okay with that. That there are some things in this universe that we can't comprehend. And that's something that the Enterprise has to encounter a lot in this series.
Yes, which makes it very fun and endearing.
Mm-hmm. The only reason I give it an A instead of an A plus is that the underground machines are draining power from the Enterprise until the caretaker shows up and fixes everything. But we're not privy to why that drain happened in the first place or how the caretaker fixed it. And those are my thoughts for that. And I think I came up with the solution earlier for that. That they just needed a couple lines.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple lines would have explained it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, if I may, that I agree it had a few plot holes. I could have, explained, like you said, about the power and why it was interfering with communication and so on. But once again, I'm very partial. I have to give it an A plus.
Oh,
because
wow.
like I explained, upon viewing now, because I haven't seen it in years, and I had a completely different outlook now as an adult, and especially being an older adult. Like I said, it made me think of past people that I knew, and the illusion of being able to bring back people just so you could say goodbye one more time, even though I know I know that I would know they're not real, but just to hug them and say goodbye one last time. Some of them I didn't get a chance to say goodbye, so I give it an A plus. That's my review. There you go. Thank you.
That's a beautiful review. And
well, I don't know what you guys are huffing on, but this episode was silly and meandering, and it didn't do anything. It was Jimmy me by, oh, Ruth. And so I thought it was, it's a nice diversion. It's light, it's pleasant, but I'd give it like a B, maybe a B minus. It's nice. The music is great. I like being on location, but in terms of plot, I'm just like, whatever.
Oh, okay. I think it's an inspiration for a lot of the imaginative stuff that Star Trek comes up with in the future. Like you were saying,
they definitely took from this episode many times.
Mm-hmm. It's very imaginative. I love it.
It is imaginative.
If I am tripping, then it's a good trip.
Good.
Yes.
And so
that's my review.
Man, I need like another hour for this episode.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I have 100 chats I haven't even looked at.
I know. I've actually got a lot of notes I wasn't even able to cover, but there's always another day.
Were they about this episode or something else?
They were about the full script of Wrath of Khan.
that did happen here.
Some syndicated versions have less of the Finnegan fighting and more Ruth interaction, for example.
Mm-hmm.
See you, Kronos.
Oh, bye, Kronos. Yeah, so I'm going to try to go through the chat real quick. And then, so I'm going to... in 3 minutes. So this will be my goodbye to the chat. I'm just going to see here. Sora Poopa says she got over the dead fiance quickly enough. I'm glad that tree smacked her. Says Sora Poopa. Hey. Oh, yeah. Tomlinson was great. Poor Tomlinson. Captain Finity says the wedding luncheon makes a fine funeral snacks indeed. Oh my goodness. Cardinals. Okay. Yeah. So, I got that one earlier. Okay. So that's where I was with the Well, okay, so I actually do want to go through the chat, but I can't. There's just too many.
Well,
I'm
thank
going
you to
to-
Kronos and James Caserta
Mhm.
and everyone. Snortopoopas, Cardinal Sin, Matt G,
Bird of Prey,
Susan, Bird of Prey, Dalek,
Oiler Greg.
Oiler
Oh, Susan
Greg.
Dolan's here. I didn't see that. I got to read at least one from her. Well, the tiger was an advanced android. It was never alive in the first place. Functional, yes. Alive, no. It went back to where it was created, subterraneously. Wow, good point. I was always just thinking of the tiger as a real tiger, but you're right. It's not a real tiger. I'm not in the episode when I see that tiger for some reason. Yes, and thank you everybody for being here in the chat. And Scotty, what do you have going on this week?
I'm watching Batman tomorrow. I'm watching Galaxy Quest on Friday. I got Quantum Leap on Thursday. Over
Nice.
at the
Batman
Fantasmagorium
66.
Show on the tubes that are you.
What? Batman 66, correct?
No, we're doing Batman 89 because we wanted to make sure that Batman Returns was going to be our Christmas episode.
Gotcha.
Yes, and I'm going to be on that one because I love that movie. I watched it 100 times when I was a kid, so it's going to be fun to talk about that one.
Yay!
Next week. So, Pop Culture Curator, what are you doing on your channel this week and next week?
On Mondays, I do Star Trek, the animated series, at least for now. I'll be running out of episodes fairly soon. On Tuesdays, you'll find me on Anti-Derivative Jill's channel, where we cover, as you can see, the Fantastic TOS. And Wednesday, I do Gilligan's Island streams with Gorilla's Random Thoughts. And hail to Gorilla, he was also here in the chat for a while.
Yeah, Gorilla was
indeed.
here too. And for the animated series show, we don't know what we're going to be doing there yet. Maybe Lost in Space, but I have to watch some episodes.
Yeah, I told Jill maybe watch an episode or two of Lost in Space and tell me what she thinks, if it's worth it.
Yeah.
I can't wait to have Mondays off.
Mhm.
And I do a random stream every now and then
Well, that
called
tells you what
Rumblings
you
from the
think
Lab.
about it. Yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So yesterday I had a birthday dinner to go to, so I couldn't do the animated series. So Pop Culture Curator had his Rumblings from the Lair, which I need to listen to.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. It's just random thing, open mic, open panel. So whatever people want to discuss.
That's always fun.
Kronos in the chat. Please let me know when this is over.
Oh well, I was just going through. I was just showing all of the chats that I am not able to talk about today, and there was just so many things going on.
Oh, and also, if there's anybody looking for a crime caper Christmas movie review that they'd like to check out, my friend over at Cinema Gulp, my friends over at Cinema Gulp, they just did a review of the movie The Ref.
I watched that review. That was a good review. I never even heard of that movie.
If everything goes according to plan, I will be receiving my copy of The Ref now.
The Ref, REF, how do you spell that?
REF, with Dennis
Okay, I'll check
Leary,
that out.
Judy Davis, Christine Baranski, and the artist formerly known as Spacey.
Thank you.
Go check out Cinema Gulp's video about that. It's really well done. Jill is at the end. No. Yeah, I am at the end. I don't want to be at the end either, but I gotta go. It is. I'm just so thankful you guys have so much to say. This was a good episode. Well, this is a very highly loved episode, and I have such a great planet, a great panel, a great planet.
Great planet.
Great
Jill's Planet. We'll rename the stream Jill's Planet.
Jill's Planet. And then, amazing chat. We seem to have a lot of fun today. I'm really happy when that happens. So thank you guys for being here. And next week, we're going to talk about another really cool episode. I really love Squire of Gothos. It's a really neat one.
Oh, yes. William Campbell. I can't wait.
Me too.
And so we're going to talk about that next week, and I'll show a trailer for it.
Yay.
And James Caserta says, we could talk about it forever. I wish we could talk about it forever. And he gives it an A-. We're all in the episode. Please let me know when it's over. Just baby star. She's at school, so they're feeding her.
By Grapthar's hammer, she shall be avenged.
Yes. And so I'll see you guys later. I really got to be going.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody. Peace.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, did I forget something? I forgot something. I forgot the poll. I have
And
the
the
poll.
right.
preview for next week's episode.
Yeah, a poll. So I'm going to share my screen.
I forgot my poll altogether. I had a poll yesterday for my stream, and I forgot to even bring it up. I feel terrible.
Mhm. I always forget the poll, but for some reason, oh, I know why. Because in my notes here, I put in giant letters. Don't forget the poll.
There we go.
Ooh.
With 52% of the popular votes.
Yeah. So with 29 votes, we have A- to A+, 51%. And in the B range, we got 41%. So A or B, which are really great scores. A or B,
Yes.
I'll accept those. I'll accept either.
Absolutely.
And it looks like
And
Gorilla didn't get a chance.
29 votes. Hopefully, we have at least 29 likes.
Kronos gives the episode a C-. Oh, okay. So he's the 6% who gave it a C-. And goodbye, everybody. Dalek and Kronos, Nordapupus, JPR, PH1, and everybody. And Cardinal Sin, Matt G.
Kapla, Bird of Prey.
Bird of Prey, Kapla. Everybody, make sure to check out his streams. He does streams, Bed Life streams Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Oh, wait. He does Bed Life Mondays and Fridays, and on Wednesday he does Enterprise. And Sundays he does Twilight Zone.
And I'm looking forward to his upcoming Picard Season 3 reviews. I can't wait.
Me too.
Okay.
Sorry, Bird.
Yeah. Well, somebody has to watch it.
Somebody's got to do it right.
Mm-hmm. So I'll see you guys next time. Can't wait to talk about Squire of Gothos with you.
Ahead
Bye.
warp factor
Bye-bye,
1.
Mm-hmm.
My dear girl, I am a doctor. When I peek, it's in the line of duty.
Captain's log, stardate 2126.1. We are weaponless and powerless, unwilling guests of the creature who calls himself Trelane.
I must say, they make a perfectly exquisite display pair.
I object to you. I object to intellect without discipline.
Mr. Spock, you do have one saving grace after all. You're ill-mannered.
You will hang by the neck until you are dead.
I want you to leave my crewmen alone. I want you to leave my crew women alone, too. Are you ready?
As the one challenged, I claim the first shot.